Today I'm rebuilding the worst school in the state of North Carolina, so it is not going to be a Power 4 team. It's going to be a mid-major, and we actually have some statistical data that tells us the worst North Carolina team this year. East Carolina lost to App State 21-19 early in the season, and then just a couple of weeks ago also lost 55-24 to Charlotte, so I think we have a pretty clear idea of the worst program in North Carolina this season. So it is Coach Mathis's job to rebuild ECU into being a powerhouse and actually one of the best teams in North Carolina and hopefully bring them a national championship. And looking at their previous records in 2023, they won 2 games. I think this year they're probably going to win 4 or 5, potentially. A couple of decent years in 2021 and 2022, but we're obviously trying to bring them their best season in program history. So I think that is their 10-3 year in 2013. And looking at this roster in our first year, they really only have one good player. It's Siobhan Revel, a cornerback. I think actually tore his ACL like really early in the year. So hopefully that does not impact his draft status because he was seen as like a first round pick potentially. But really outside of him, who is going to be leaving after this year, we don't have a lot of other top end talent. I do think Javius Bond, just because he is a sophomore, could end up being a pretty good player for us, 92 speed and 96 excel. Maybe I will elect to redshirt him this year just to ensure we have him for an extra year down the road. But at quarterback, Jake Garcia is the starter, and he had 12 interceptions in only 6 games where he appeared. He didn't even start and finish 6 games, and he had 12 picks. I think he was a transfer from the University of Miami, but he's just not been good. And outside him, there are 2 other options. We have Caden Hauser here and Raheem Jeter, but who knows if I will make one of these guys our long-term answer at the quarterback position. I think they do have some pretty good arm talent, but the speed is not quite there. And I do like having a mobile quarterback behind center. At wide receiver, all of our best players are redshirt seniors, except for Chase Sowell here, who is a sophomore redshirt, who actually is pretty good. So having him for 2 more seasons could do us fairly good as well. And we do have a lot of wide receiver depth, but it's just not a lot of good players. So a lot of these guys are going to get redshirted, and hopefully we see some improvement from them. At least some of them do have good speed and acceleration. Maybe down the line, they can be pretty good players for us. The tight end position, again, a lot of players on this roster, but a good handful of them are also pretty old. The offensive line, definitely not great. Haven't seen one player so far over a 75 overall until our right guard in Jacob Sacra. So the offensive line is going to be a huge need for us in these first couple of years. And the defensive line is not super good either, and definitely not very deep. So I think in the trenches, we're going to need a lot of help. The linebacking core, we're going to need a couple players as well. So as I kind of noticed early on, it's pretty much open season with every position group on this roster. We just need to go out and get talent because this roster is very starved of some blue chip players. Now, my strategy for recruiting is, again, just going to be going after every single player from North Carolina that we at least have a chance to get. And the thing about North Carolina, really the top tier programs are NC State and UNC. And I think after a couple of decent years, we could be right up with them. So I'm not really concerned with recruiting long term. I just feel like in the first couple of years, it could be tough to get some top end talent. But I'm going to just try and add all of these players to our board, scout them, and then try and see if we can get any initial interest. And then if that happens, we're going to try and get ourselves a couple of 4 stars, 3 stars, and really just build out this roster. And so now we have reached week number 0, and I did find this quarterback who is not from North Carolina, but we did have a good chance to go after. He's the number 46 player in the country. I'm going to try and pour all of the resources I can into getting him. I don't really expect to get him because there are some powerhouse schools like Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, all offering him. But if we can get Devin Samuels, who is a gym prospect, he could be the future of our program. But outside of Samuels, I don't think we're going to have a chance to get Jeremy Boozer. I mean, Clemson, NC State, Georgia, South Carolina. I just don't think we can compete with those schools, at least in year number 1. So I'm going to take him off the board. And for Dimitri Landers, we probably can't either, but just because we are in his interest meter, I think I'm just going to keep him on at least for a couple more weeks. But like this tight end, Byron Walters, I don't think we have a chance to get him because Clemson already close to locking him up. I think the same thing with this outside linebacker as well. Just no real chance to get these guys. And unfortunately, this pass rusher as well. I mean, we're just not even in his interest meter after offering him a scholarship. No point in wasting resources there. But the good thing is the rest of these 3 stars, I mean, we are in the lead or very close to the top of the leaderboard. I think we're going to be able to round out a pretty decent class in year number 1, just the initial look at things. So I'm just going to try and pour some resources into every single one of these 3 stars and then really just go all in on Samuels and see if we can snipe him away from some of these other top programs. And our schedule this season is really not too hard. I mean, I kind of talked about it in the intro. I mean, Appalachian State is one of the outer conference games. I mean, that's just not a super challenging game, especially at home. Old Dominion and FCS Southeast are our first two matchups, and then we get into the heart of conference play. And the American Conference are okay. Army, Navy are like the two teams running it this year. Both of them are ranked. And then we also have Memphis, who's a solid team. But outside of that, we really shouldn't have too much trouble in the grand scheme of things beyond maybe this year when we're only a 78 overall. Also, I thought this quarterback, James Moore, was like a punter that was just sitting at number 4 in our depth chart. Why is this guy actually a 12 overall quarterback? That just seems so disrespectful. But I do think for the sake of the rebuild, I am going to redshirt Javius Bond, so we will have him for the next several years. And in week number 1, we did destroy FCS Southeast. Not really a surprise there. 31-7. Let's take a look at the stats and see what happened. Garcia actually had a generational performance, 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hopefully he keeps that up as we get into the heart of the season. Rajayi Harris had 51 yards on the ground, and receiving-wise, 2 players over 100 yards. We'll definitely take that. And defensively, 2.5 sacks for Chad Stevens, maybe our best pass rusher on the entire unit. Recruiting, honestly, is not going too bad so far. We are number 4 currently for Devin Samuels. I also did pour some of my resources into quarterback for recruiting, so I think that maybe should help us out a little bit. We do actually see his 3 interests, but because he's not narrowed down to 5 schools yet, I can't put the hard sell on him, but I think we do have an outsider chance to get him, but it's going to be tough because right now Wisconsin and Penn State are the top 2 schools. But for this 4-star middle linebacker, we are currently out recruiting Clemson. That's just kind of crazy to say. We are out recruiting Clemson so far. And then the rest of these other 3 stars, we are top 3. I feel like in every single one of these prospects. So I'm actually decently optimistic about having ourselves a good recruiting class to really set us up in a couple of years. And if we can get this quarterback, man, I would be really happy with this season, regardless of how many games we can actually win. In the meantime, we did fall to Old Dominion, our first road game on the year, 20-17. So a pretty competitive game. Wish we could have won it though. Garcia, still no turnovers, which is not really realistic, but he only completed 35% of his passes. Definitely not good enough. But we did actually get ourselves 10 more coaching points. I just put 5 more on the increased weekly recruiting hours because we're still trying to go after that 4-star quarterback. So we have 0 hours currently, but I'm going to take the 25 off of Antoine Career. So now we got 15 hours to use, and I'm going to put them all on Samuels again. So now we've got 65 hours poured into Samuels here. We are still in the race, but it's going to be very tight here down the stretch. I'm hoping these 15 added hours can maybe push us up into the top 3. We did also fall behind Clemson for Dimitri Landers, which I don't feel great about, but I want to hop into our first game of this rebuild. And you know, they say ECU is one of the most underrated uniforms in the entire sport of college football, but here we are against App State. Maybe we can get revenge for what happened to East Carolina in real life. And so far in this game, not really a ton of action. The Mountaineers do have themselves a field goal. I'm going to try and answer it here with a 53-yarder. This is going incredibly fast. I don't know if that's going to have enough leg. It actually might be good, and it's just going to squeak in to tie the game up. And now with 51 seconds to go, ECU has a chance to go down the field here and take the lead before break. I'm going to lob one up to the tight end here, and it's going to be overthrown by Garcia, and that's pretty much classic Garcia. And since that turnover, it definitely gave the Mountaineers some momentum because it's 17-10. They're back in our red zone. It's going to be a run up the middle here. Actually, to bounce it outside, but he's going nowhere. 3rd and 10. We could use a turnover here. Where is our stud cornerback when you need him? It's going to be another run here, a little draw play, but the running back's going to pick up 7 yards. App State's going to go for it here. I'm going to run coming up the middle, bring a blitz, and hopefully we can get a stop here. I'm using the linebacker Wilson. It's going to be right up the middle, and he's going to be shut down. And now the Pirates and Garcia take over at the 44-yard line with a chance to go down the field and tie this game. And the first pass, Garcia is intercepted again. What a play from that corner. That is just ridiculous. Luckily, our defense got a stop. I'm really confused how that was an interception. I thought Garcia could have put that out there a little bit more and really made sure that corner couldn't break on the ball. But here's a nice little punt return. 1st and 10 to 23. Texas right across the middle of the field. It's going to be caught by Harris. And Harris, he's taking it inside the 45, and he fumbled the football. What is going on with this team? There's no way he wasn't down. We just can't get out of our own way. That is 3 turnovers. Wouldn't have hopped in to help out this offense. But the Mountaineers missed their field goal. It's the 3rd time the charm. We have another opportunity to go down the field and tie this game up. Here on the little post corner, we're going to try and catch us on one-on-one coverage, and it's dropped. And just like that, it is 3rd and 10. I'm going to try and find Harris here on this little screen pass. We got it out to him. Good blockers up the field, and Harris just don't fumble this time. It's going to be 4th and 1. Obviously have to go for it here, and I feel like we have a receiver on this little out route, and Garcia missed him again. We're going to fall to the Mountaineers 17-10. Pretty tough loss to stomach. 3 chances with our defense holding strong in the 4th, and we just could not move the ball. But I will say a small glimmer of hope that came away from that game is that Devin Samuels, after adding those 15 hours into recruiting, we are number 1 on his interest board. That is huge for us if we can get ourselves a stud QB. Now, I've had all 3 of his interests for a long time now, so I'm going to go ahead and apply the hard sell, and we will see if this brings us even closer to getting one of the best quarterback prospects in the country. Landers, we are unfortunately falling really far behind. I will just put on a hard sell guess when we only have 2 of his interests, but I'm going to try it. I don't really think it's going to matter either way just because of how much progress Clemson has made, but we're going to try it and see maybe if we can pull something out of left field here. So I think it is going to be the clutch, pro potential, playing style, and proximity to home. So we're going to try it here. And maybe Landers magically changes his mind. Really, the rest of these 3-star prospects were cruising in the lead, except for Jamichael Forte here, receiving back from Cornelius, North Carolina. NC State has him coming on a visit in week number 5. He's really close to committing there. So again, I'm just going to try and put the hard sell on him, see if we can make a last-ditch effort to get him to come to ECU. And surprisingly, we had our best one of the season so far, 27-24 against Liberty, a pretty good team mid-major in Virginia. We defeated them on the road 27-24. Recruiting-wise, the hard sell helped a little bit, not as much progress as I would want to see here with all those resources going to Samuels. But I do think I'm going to put him on a visit because we don't really have a ton of time to waste. I guess week number 9 against Temple looks like the best case scenario for us. So week number 9, we're going to have him come visit our school. And I guess really the only one we can offer is the proximity to home. So Devin Samuels, we will see you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully by then we have a chance to lock him up. Landers, the hard sell did help us jump Clemson, but we are still behind Virginia Tech and it is just not looking good for us. I don't think we have a chance to get Landers, unfortunately. Jamichael Forte did also commit to NC State, so our hard sell did not work there. And it's not looking great for us for this 3-star left tackle either in Sammy Toomer, with App State and NC State having visits already scheduled and a lot more interest. We did drop another game to UTSA, 30-24, so we now are 2-3 on the season and 0-1 in the conference, but I do want to hop into the game against Charlotte as well, kind of their cross-state rival now. But we did lose out on our only other 4-star recruit in Dimitri Landers. He decided to go to Virginia Tech. And as I feared, left tackle Sammy Toomer also decided to go to NC State. But here in Charlotte, a defensive battle so far, but we do have a chance to score some points now at midfield, but we have to pick up this 3rd and 7. Pass rush is going to get there, and Garcia, he misses yet another throw. I tell you what, it's hard to move the ball when your quarterback just cannot throw the pass accurately. And here we go with Harris. He's going to slightly pick up the 1st down here. And now at the 1-yard line, we're going to try and score our first touchdown of this rebuild. Hand it off to Harris, and he does have the outside edge. It's 7-0 Pirates. But since that touchdown, it's been all Charlotte. They scored, they're inside the 5 again, and now our defense needs to try and hold it here. Barker missed the hit stick, and they're going to be down to the 2. So you're going to try and run commit here, and hopefully it does work. And I ran commit, but it didn't matter. Charlotte takes a 7-point lead. Slowly but surely, though, Garcia has brought us down the field for a 1st and goal at the 3. Another opportunity to tie this game up. Trying to find somebody open, and I'm just going to throw it away, not risking interception. Let's try this again on 2nd and goal. Just going to fire to the tight end here. Hold on to it. Kelly does. Is 14 apiece. But with only 2:12 to go, Charlotte is inside the 10-yard line. Can our defense stand tall? Another possession. We've got them on 3rd and goal from the 9. I brought a blitz. Going to be using this middle linebacker, the middle of the field. It's going to be another run. Just make the tackle here. He's going to be short. So our defense did their job. Bend but not break. Charlotte does make the field goal, but Garcia does have a chance to go win this game. We saw how the first few game-winning drives I hopped into went. Can I redeem myself here with ECU? Right up the seam again to our tight end. Kelly, he's going to hold on to this one. We're across midfield. Same type of concepts. Again, right up the seam, and oh my goodness. I thought I could just whiz one past that corner. Sometimes I just realize I'm so trash at this game. That was just an awful play there. Timeout, though. If we do hold him here, we probably will get the ball back with around 40 seconds. But, man, I've just been very disappointing in these clutch situations. I've not come through at all. But another run here. He's going to be held short. And we're going to get the ball with around 40 seconds. So here's the situation. 40 seconds at the 17-yard line, down by 3 points. Only need a field goal, though. So that's kind of the silver lining here. Again, our tight end on this little route. And Garcia just overthrows him. 2nd and 10. 34 seconds. Going to try and fire to our tight end again. This time, though, he's wide open. He's going to hold on. We got to go no huddle. Beautiful throw. Beautiful route there. Perfectly for what we needed. Now we just need probably 30 more yards and 26 seconds to force overtime. And right up the seam again to our tight end, one-on-one coverage. Kelly, he's going to hold on to it. Let's spike the football. I tried to get up and spike it. Wouldn't let me. Now we're just going to take a shot at the end zone here. One-on-one coverage across the board. Not going to go to their star cornerback. How about Patterson in the end zone? Patterson, it's incomplete. And now we're going to take one more shot at the end zone here. And we have the coverage to beat it. Here we go. Sewell, he dropped it. And we're just going to try that one more time. That was perfect for what we needed. It was one-on-one with the cornerback. We just can't take a sack here. And I'm going to lob one up into the end zone again. We have some separation. It's incomplete. So now we've got one from 46 yards. Kind of a straight shot, but this is not going to be easy. We have a very young kicker, and you can see how fast this meter's going. So I'm going to try it here, and that should be good. Right down the middle. I made up for myself a little bit there. We're going to OT. I don't understand why OT is starting with Charlotte at the 42-yard line. I swear that overtime is kind of broken in this game, but here we go. 3rd and 7 for their quarterback. He's going to fire. It's going to be picked off by Duncanson, and Duncanson is allowed to green grass. Duncanson, our blocker, got in the way. I just don't really know what happened. So we got that pick, and now Charlotte is once again driving. It's like OT 2.0 is starting here, but their quarterback on 3rd down goes nowhere. So now they're going to try for a field goal. I'm not exactly sure if like we had ball first or what. Like I really just don't know what's happening here, but they're going to hit their field goal. And do we get a chance now? And I guess we don't. I really have no idea what just happened. I feel like we just got robbed out of an overtime win. I really don't know what just happened, but the good news is Devin Samuels, we're still in the lead. He's narrowed down to his 3 schools: Notre Dame, Wisconsin. Surprisingly, probably the 2 schools I would have picked from this candidate list to go up against. Not Michigan, not Ohio State, not Penn State, but Notre Dame and Wisconsin. We still have them on that visit week number 9. Notre Dame is making some progress, but I feel like if we can win and hold on just until that visit, we're going to be able to get them. We did get ourselves our first recruit of this rebuild, Antoine Creer, a left outside linebacker, but I'm very scared to check on our quarterback Samuels. And yeah, I just fell to my knees. I have no words. Samuels, a week before our visit, decides to go to Notre Dame. All the resources we poured into him. We fall up a little bit short. Number 2 on his board. Gym prospect would have been perfect for us. And I knew Robin Notre Dame was making a lot of progress. We were in trouble. We didn't even get him on our visit. I feel like if we would have just made it one more week, would have had a chance. That one hurts. A true heartbreaking moment in year number 1. But I went ahead and simmed to the final game of the year because, we were not going to even have a chance at a bowl game. We missed out on the only prospect that I really wanted. So I kind of just wanted to get to the end of this season, and we are currently 4-7, 2-5 in the conference. We just got destroyed 52-7 against 11-0 North Texas, who is now ranked. And our final game of the season is going to be against Navy, which I do want to hop into and just try and get ourselves a win to end off our season. Recruiting honestly hasn't been super great. We only have a few players signed, and we are in the lead for a good handful of these players. But again, we're probably only going to end up with around 10 to 12 players in year number 1. And that's not really what you want when you have a team that needs a lot of talent. You want to try and get as many players that you can because it's just a higher chance that you strike gold on a couple of them. So I think next year, unless we have a really good chance to get one of these top 4-star quarterbacks like I tried this year, I probably should not waste those same resources again next year until at least we have some credibility as a program. But here we are back at ECU trying to end this season on a positive note. We actually have a lot of fans, I guess, selling out for our last home game of the year, wearing our beautiful purple unis, purple helmets. Let's try and get this thing done amidst a sellout crowd here against Navy. And so far, Garcia in this offense is having a fairly good showing here in the red zone. I'm going to try and lob one up, and can we get a catch? It's going to be dropped. We need some of these receivers to progress. Definitely not an easy catch, but when you're playing college football, I expect you to come down with that catch. But here we're going to run it off to Gunn Jr., our backup running back. He's going to pick up 7 yards. I will say for next season, I did put a lot of our coaching points into just progression for quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs. So I'm hoping a lot of the players we already have on our roster can get a large improvements heading into our second season. And honestly, pretty much a perfect start for us so far. Our offense is moving it up and down the field. Our defense is holding Navy to really no movement whatsoever. But I'm going to go for it here on this 4th down, and probably mistake, but we did have a lot of green grass with Garcia, and he's going to take it all the way to the 1-yard line. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see anybody open on that play, and then I just saw all that green grass. Garcia took off, picked up the first. But here we go, wide open. Gunn Jr. touchdown. It's 14-0. But this is actually the perfect outcome for what I wanted in the last game of the year. Just an absolute ass-kicking of Navy to bring us some momentum heading in to year number 2. And look at Gunn Jr. bouncing off tacklers. Definitely our best and most complete game of this entire year. A shutout on defense, 31 points offensively. Pretty exciting win, actually, man. I know it's a little bit too little too late, but hopefully this does turn into some pretty good momentum for our program heading into next season. And Gunn Jr. just put the icing on the cake. 38-0. Great end of the season for us. We are going to be one game short of a bowl game, but 5-7, not awful in year number 1. As always with my coordinating position, Neil Leonard, he's a D prestige, is just not going to get it done, so he is going to be fired. And stats for the season, 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns to 12 picks for Garcia. That's okay. On the ground, we had 600 yards and 5 touchdowns from Rahaji Harris, who did get hurt. Receiving, Jahari Patterson, 796 yards and 7 touchdowns, our leading weapon. He will be gone, though, after this year. And Chase Sowell, our actual best weapon, who is a redshirt sophomore, had a good season as well. Defensively, 8 sacks for Chad Stevens. And picks-wise, our best player, Shavon Revel, had 2 picks, and he will be going on to the NFL draft, probably a first-round pick. Gonna try and hire Kenneth Hayter, I think the head coach of South Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to try and offer him and make him our new offensive coordinator. Here's a quick look at National Signing Day. We officially have 8 players signed and still in the race for a decent bulk. I just added a few positions of need at like the very last week of recruiting just to get these guys into the offseason. We'll see if we can make anything happen with them. Here's a quick look at the college football playoff bracket. NC State and North Carolina both did make the playoffs, which is kind of interesting. 2 teams from North Carolina. Looks like North Texas from our conference did get the mid-major bid and actually made it to the quarterfinal. But Ohio State did defeat Penn State 36-26 and took home the coach's trophy. Here's a look at players leaving. Always unfortunate to see our best pass rusher, our best corner actually has a 5th round projection. And then we get up to some of the players that are trying to transfer out, including Javius Bond, who I did redshirt this year. Low persuasion chance because of our playing style. I guess he did not like me putting the red shirt on him. We have 5 persuasion, so I guess I'm going to try it on our best player first. Not really too confident in this, and we are not going to get Bond back. So I probably fumbled that situation, and now we have 4 more persuasions. I guess we'll go with the medium chance and try to get JD Lampley. He'll be a nice player to come back, and he won't. So we're kind of striking out now, and I don't really care too much about like these mid-60 overall receivers. This redshirt freshman had a pick for us when I hopped into a game, Duncanson, and he's not going to come back either. We can try Isaiah Brown Murray, our corner. He won't come back as well. I guess I'll just put it on this right outside linebacker, see if we can get him to come back. He will. So 1 of 5. Definitely not great. Some decent players in the transfer portal to go after, and Cam Robinson, actually the number 33 player, has us number 2 on his board. We're going to try and get him. He would be a great get for us at this point in the offseason. This other linebacker named Keon Keeley, he's coming from Alabama. Don't know how realistic it is we're going to have a chance to get him, but we'll add him to the board. Well, I got to work, and here is the official year 1 East Carolina recruiting class. We have 21 players signed. All of them are 3 stars, no 2 stars, no 1 stars, but nothing better than a 3-star as well. But honestly, I feel like it turned out pretty well. I mean, we went really hard at the end of the year and in the transfer portal to round out this class and just get as much talent as we could. Definitely next year, we need to be a little bit more mindful and probably go after a smaller group of players right away. But let's take a look and see where this class ranks. I'm probably guessing around 60 or 70, and actually it's going to be 45. So that's actually not too terrible at all. It's got to be one of the top for our conference. So I'm pretty happy with that in year number 1. Obviously would have liked that quarterback Samuels. I mean, that still hurts me. That would have been really the crown jewel of this class. But number 45 and you're number 1, going 5-7, we'll take that. But always the most important part of this video is seeing the training results on a year-to-year basis. And our number 1 player this year is Chase Sowell, our wide receiver, 83 overall, 92 speed, 95 acceleration. Garcia improved a decent amount, and so did Raheem Jeter, up to an 80 overall as a redshirt sophomore. Hauser had some decent improvement as well. I think that's just because of all the points I poured into offseason boost for quarterbacks. Running back, we have a pretty nice stable of backs. We have Grayson Clue, who's actually our top currently. I think Gunn Jr. got the most reps for us last year, but he's already fallen down to number 3 just to all the improvement of these top 2 players. And looking at these numbers for TJ Engelman, 92 speed, 98 acceleration, 99 agility. This guy's probably going to be our starter. Already showed so well, but we also have Daniel Clark here, who is a respectable receiver as well. Tight end, we're okay, and the offensive line is better this year. It's still not great, but we do at least have some starters in the upper 70s. The defensive line is fairly deep as well, but again, still not super deep. And left outside linebacker, we don't even have anybody there currently. Corner's going to take a step back this year because we did lose our best player. At safety, we're doing all right. So honestly, we are a lot better than we were last year, in 81 overall and 81 offense, 82 defense, but still, I don't think a roster that's going to be competing for really anything special this year. Now, I don't know exactly which quarterback I do want to start. Jake Garcia, he does, have really good skill caps, so he could end up being like a really, really high overall player, although I don't really expect that to happen, especially since he is a senior. But I wonder if like starting Raheem Jeter this year would be smarter since he is younger, but I don't know about his skill caps, and yeah, definitely not as high as his ceiling. I don't know about Caden Hauser either, if he's got a good ceiling or not. I guess we can take a look, and he actually does. So Hauser could potentially be our starter this year. He does look like he has the highest upside, and he is only a junior. Our freshman quarterback, Josh Sun, doesn't look like he can be a very good player. Just a lot of skill cap, so I don't think he's ever going to develop into anything worth substance. We can take a look at another recruit that we had in Jay Jennings, who actually looks like he could be fairly decent. So we'll take a look at his ratings. Maybe he could be the future, and it doesn't look very good either. So quarterback is still a massive hole. I still think Jake Garcia probably gives us the best chance to win this year, but we're definitely going to need somebody to really groom, because I don't think either of these freshmen are going to do it. And here's our first look at prospects this year in Jelani Bettis. He has us in his interest board, which is, it's still number 9, so it's not great, but a scrambler archetype 4-star recruit. I'm very intrigued of going after this player. I think just because he's from the state of North Carolina, we do have ourselves a better chance to get him than we did with Samuels just last year. But again, it's going to be roughly the same strategy, just going to go after all of the top 4-star recruits and 3 stars that I can find from the state of North Carolina. And then we will continue to just filter out players that, either just aren't very good or we just have no chance of getting, and then continue to go after more and more in players just like we did last year. This Bettis kid is a stud. 94 throw power, 86 speed, decent accuracy, but he's got a lot of mentals and a lot of decent abilities as well. He is definitely going to be somebody I really look to go after because we need a stud quarterback for the future of this program. And this 4-star wide receiver, another gem. He's a stud. 95 speed, 92 excel, another huge addition. Imagine if we could get Ronnie Lay and Bettis. They'd be like the 2 pillars for our offense moving forward, but obviously not going to be easy when you have other schools on his radar like Clemson, like Georgia, and the 2 other top teams in North Carolina. Here was a look at the schedule for the season. We actually have a double bye week. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Week 5 and week 6. But the big headliner is at NC State, the number 5 team in the country, to open up our season. I will definitely be hopping into this game. But again, not too hard outside of that. FIU, Coastal Carolina, BYU, decent programs, but nothing too crazy. And then, of course, conference play again. We do play Army and Navy this year. Another matchup against Charlotte. But I do think, again, we can have a chance to make a bowl game. And what I'd love to see is that Jelani Bettis, who went from 9 to 1 and just offering him a scholarship. So I think we have actually a great chance to get him. If we just put all of our chips into the middle of the table, Jelani Bettis should be a Pirate. Now, this other 4-star defensive tackle, we probably don't have a great chance to get him because NC State, UNC offering him scholarships, but we're going to try at least for the first week. Same kind of rationale with his free safety. I just want to try and get all these guys that we can early on. I mentioned this wide receiver. He is a stud, but Georgia already offered him a scholarship. But it is time for our week 1 matchup against the NC State Wolfpack. A rivalry matchup here at Carter Finley Stadium. Can we upset the number 5 team in the nation? Honestly, overall wise, we're not too far behind them. I think we're like an 82, they're an 84. And so far in this game, we're the one moving the ball on offense. Garcia here on 3rd and 9, checking it down to our running back, and Clue breaking the tackle and bringing it inside the 15. Getting off to a 7-0 lead on the road is a huge, huge plus for us. And Clue again right up the middle for 2 yards. But this is one of the reasons I elected to continue to start Garcia, is just his experience level. We need somebody that can walk into hostile environments and put together a good performance. And Garcia, 7-0 Pirates. I will say though, since that point, our offense hasn't really been able to move the ball. NC State did get themselves a touchdown to equalize the score, and now Garcia's under some pressure again, going to try and run here. He's not the fastest guy, and he just fumbled the football trying to run. Just unbelievable. Garcia, I thought he had an edge there. He'd get like 5-6 yards, but instead he's in a fumble, and now NC State's in the red zone with business to score. Now CJ Bailey, their quarterback, at the 7-yard line, is going to fire to the end zone, and how Did that pass make it through? I will say, though, this team is not quitting. We're in the second half now, 3rd and 1, approaching the red zone. Pressure on Garcia, but he did get it out to Clark, who holds on. I tell you what, Jake Garcia is having a fairly decent game so far. But can we continue this momentum, put some points on the board, going to fire on this little out route, and he completely airmailed the pass. And that type of throw right there is why we're going after a 4-star quarterback. But here we go. Chip shot field goal should not be super hard, and I think that is going to be good. It is right down the middle. 14-10. Unfortunately, NC State went right down the field, scored a touchdown, and now we have an 11-point hole here. As the fourth quarter begins, I saw him too late, our tight end. Now on 2nd and 10 here, little play action. Nobody's going to be open. Going to dump it off to our tight end again here for 2 yards. This is a big play. I probably will go for it if we don't get this here, but I'm going to fire to the end zone, and Garcia with another miss. Garcia has definitely cooled off here. We're going to go for it on 4th and 8. Going to try and run forward. Garcia, he has the sticks, and Garcia, he's down to the 1. That's a ballsy call from Coach Mathis to go for it there on 4th and 8, and on 1st and goal at the 1, we're stuffed. We got to find a way to punch this in. A couple out routes, and I'm going to fire to the end zone. It's going to be caught by Clark. We're back in with 1 possession. And honestly, not a ton of moments on defense today, but I'm fine with it because NC State, they're punting again, and we're going to have a chance with 2.5 minutes to go win this game. And I did not fair catch it. That was probably dumb, but we're at the 25. Only need a field goal. The 1st and 10 play. Going to stand in the pocket, deliver a strike over the middle of the field to our best receiver for our first. Chase Sowell is going to have to show up big for us if we're going to win this game. He's got one-on-one coverage again. I'm just going to dump it off to the running back, though. No need to take a big shot yet. That's going to be the 2-minute timeout. First play out of the timeout, 2nd and 2 here. Dump it off to our running back again. Clue, who's been pretty good for us in the receiving game, picks it up. We can honestly begin taking a little bit of clock because we're nearing field goal range. There's a 1.5 to go. But here we go. On 2nd and 1, going to find Clue, and probably not the best play on 2nd and 1. I want to run a read option here on 3rd and 1 to pick up the first, and we got it. And Clue has a lot more. Clue is going to bring it into the end zone. And I don't know if we scored too early. I thought about going down, but I'm just going to take the guaranteed touchdown. And now it is time to go on defense, where we can't allow a touchdown. On the road against the number 5 team in the country, our rival NC State. The first play, it's a check down for about 5 yards. NC State does have all 3 timeouts, but we're just playing bend but don't break defense. Less than a minute to go here. CJ Bailey is another pass right up the middle of the field. It's going to be picked off by Wilson. My user is there. And we're 1 first down away from upsetting the number 5 team in the nation. Damian Wilson, our senior middle linebacker, with the play of his life. And I just can't fathom that we might have a chance to pull this thing off. I remember just a couple of years ago, I think ECU played NC State pretty tough. I think that game was in Greenville. Might have missed like a walk-off game-winning field goal. And we're honestly giving them a bit of revenge today if we can hold on here. The 3rd and 4 play right up the middle, and Clue's going to be a little bit short. And honestly, instead of going for the 50-yard field goal or punting it, because I feel like if we punt it, we're probably only going to give them like 10 less yards. I'm going to try to quarterback sneak this for the game. Garcia up the middle. Garcia, he got it, and that's going to do it. I thought he might have been a little bit short, but no. ECU just walked in NC State in our 2nd year of this rebuild and defeated them, the number 5 team in the country. A crazy win for us, and this should do wonders in recruiting and hopefully give us some momentum the rest of this season. And that game helped a ton recruiting-wise. Matt Sanders, he already committed to us a run stopper. Not the best prospect, but we'll take it. Bettis, we are running away with it. We are number 1 with a pretty sizable lead over Tennessee. This defensive tackle, we are number 3 behind NC State and UNC. That's going to be a tough battle to win. But this free safety, we're up to number 1. This wide receiver, Ronnie Lay, look at how much progress we had last week. We're up to number 1 for him. This other wide receiver, we're number 1. And the rest of these players, the rest of these 3 stars from North Carolina, we're right in the thick of the battle. 14 prospects, have a decent chance to get every single one of them. I'm just really focused on these top high-end players because if we get them, our offense could be ridiculous next season and beyond. Unfortunately, the rest of out-of-conference play did not go super well. We did win against FIU 20-17, but dropped games to Coastal Carolina on the road, and then home against number 14 BYU 28-7. We sit at 2-2. We have a double bye week, and then we get into the heart of conference play. Honestly, not terrible. We only have to win 4 of those games to lock up a bowl game, and we also already have a ranked win, but NC State, they're no longer ranked. Recruiting-wise, things are going still pretty well, although Tennessee, they're making a last-ditch effort on Jelani Bettis, but I have one last trick I can put up my sleeve here. I'm going to schedule him on a visit, I think in week... it's just weird, because week number 9 would be better, but with the way that Tennessee is progressing, wouldn't it just be better to have him come as soon as possible? So that probably would just mean to have him come week number 7 here. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if it will even matter, like if at this rate, if he will even make it to the visit, but we're going to put him on 1, proximity to home, week number 7, and hopefully then we can get him to sign with us. This defensive tackle, we're falling behind again to NC State. Probably don't have a good chance to get him. But this free safety, we're in the lead. This Ronnie Lay stud receiver, we are in first place, out recruiting Georgia currently. The issue with him is we only have 2 of his interests. I don't want to guess quite yet with the hard sell and end up risking not getting it right. This other 4-star receiver, we are in first place as well. And all these other 3 stars, we're in front by a decent margin. So 14 players right now is our group of players, but we're in the lead for majority of them. They're all fairly good. And I feel like if we can get some of these 4 stars to really help out bolster our class, we can again have a really impressive recruiting class. I just simmed the first bye week, and Jelani Bettis, even before our visit with him, is going to commit to our school, and we might have just locked up our quarterback of the future. Unfortunately, the other 4-star player that we had on defense, and Johnny Dunohu, he is going to go to NC State. It looks like he's very close to committing, has a visit already in week number 11. So I think, unfortunately, I am just going to remove him from the board, bring ourselves back 50 recruiting hours, and focus on the rest of our players. But now it is time for conference play, and I do want to hop in here and try and give us a good start for this year in the American, but so far it's not really off to a great start here. Underneath, though, to wide receiver Leverett, he's in the end zone. It's 7-7. And outside of that first drive, our defense is actually playing fairly well. I mean, they've only held Tulsa to 50 yards. We have a key third down here again in the middle of the field in Garcia. Just a bit inaccurate. It's going to be picked off. And since the interception, Tulsa has really figured it out on offense, and they're going to dive into the end zone and take a 2-possession lead here in the 4th. But look at Garcia in the offense. A quick score. I didn't even have to hop in for that one. And now we're back on defense, just needing a stop to get the ball back. In this first down play, we do just that. With it now being at the 2-minute warning, I do expect just 2 straight runs here from Tulsa. We have the timeouts to stop the clock. It's just going to be if I can lead us down the field. Another outside run, beautiful tackle, timeout. And on 3rd and 14, should be another run. It is. And as long as we can tackle him before he gets to the yard marker, we do. We're getting a chance to win this game. So here we go again. I've been in this situation a few times now in the CCU rebuild and have not come through. But Garcia, the very experienced senior quarterback, down by 5 points in the rain at home. He needs to put together a drive here. And Soel, first play, 7 yards. They're pressing our receivers on these little corner routes. They should be open. I don't want to force it, though, and I'm just going to run into a sack. And now we got a 3rd and 7, just like that. Underneath right here to our wide receiver. Hold on to it. Riles did, but he's going to be a little bit short. We got to go no huddle. And just to pick up the first down, I think I'm going to try and run it. This might not be a great play call, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right up the middle. Beautiful. Clue. They weren't expecting that. First down. Clock is ticking, though, right under a minute to go. I need to be a little bit more mindful of the clock. And again, on this little whip route right here to a receiver, Riles get out of bounds? I think he did. So the clock has stopped. We're at the 37-yard line. It's time to take a shot here. Slot fade. And Garcia missed him. I might have threw it a little bit early, but I wanted to do it just for a guaranteed first down. But Garcia missed him. So now we have a 2nd and 10 play, little drag route underneath again. Riles catches it. We got to go no huddle. I don't want to use the timeout yet. We've got to hurry up, though. We're already down to 40 seconds. We need 34 yards to go win this game. Again, not really anything open. Just got to throw for the first down marker, and Soel dropped it. Our best wide receiver with a crucial play on 3rd down, and he drops it. So now we have 4th and 6. This is the game. Going to dump it off. And it's incomplete. Another devastating loss where I can't come through in the end, and we're going to lose 21-16. And the recruitment for some of these top 4 stars is getting tough because South Carolina is making a lot of progress on this free safety, and Ronnie Lay, who I really want. Georgia is closing in, and they have a visit week number 12. So we do have the first visit here. I just scheduled one, but if he doesn't even come on that visit, I think we're going to miss out on him. We did surprisingly take down 5-1 UTSA, though. That's actually a very good win for us. Garcia actually had himself a fairly good game, 297 yards and 2 touchdowns. But this next game against North Texas could potentially be one of the biggest games of this entire rebuild. And let me show you why. Because we have 2 of our top recruits coming on visits for this game. This free safety and Ronnie Lay. The issue is Georgia and South Carolina have jumped us for first place to getting these guys. The only silver lining is we do have both of these guys coming on visits this week. So we need to win this game against North Texas to lock up these two other 4-stars. So this is a must hop in game and a must win game for us. But here we go against North Texas, an absolutely massive game. And Iran came in up the middle on 4th and inches, and we just got torched for a touchdown. Just an unbelievable start. Unreal. But now we have a 3rd and 6. I need to pick up this first down and dump it off to our running back, Clue. I think he does have the angle. We do. We're in the red zone. Would be nice to get the equalizer touchdown, but just need to take care of the ball first. A little drag right underneath to Riles, and he's going to pick up 4 yards. I've got to remember to also rely on the run because our offensive line and running back are not bad. I mean, they're pretty serviceable here. And Clue with a nice juke, and Clue bringing it inside the 3. And now on 1st and goal, just need to be smart with the football. I try to throw it, and it's going to be caught, actually. Great throw from Garcia under pressure, and it's tied up. But our defense, it's leaking oil. Because North Texas went right down the field and scored again. And now we have another key 3rd down. Garcia with a good throw, but it's going to be a yard short. And as I stated earlier, I'm trusting this offensive line and our running back. 4th and 1, Clue, he's got the first down and a bit more. We're being aggressive here today with so many key pillars of our program potentially here to watch. And now, look at Riles break a couple tackles, and Riles rumbles and stumbles in for 6. And our defense got to stop, but we're at the 1-yard line now. With 2 minutes to go in this half, I'm going to try and get out of our own shadow here and maybe get a field goal before half. We're going to go no huddle, try to get some points. Just need to be smart with the football. I just cannot turn this over. I've been so turnover prone in this reel. But right up the field here, though, it's going to be caught by Riles. And that is a great drive starter because we're probably about 40 yards away from having a decent field goal attempt. And right up the seam again to our receiver, Riles, and he's going to drop it. I mean, he was wide open. I don't know if I need a conservative catch that or just have a quarterback that has better arm talent. But again, up the field again, it's going to be caught by Riles. He's my favorite target. Timeout. Our junior tight end, Riles. He's an absolute stud. I like this slot fade here. Not much open. I'm going to try and get outside the pocket. Garcia lobbing up to Riles again. Riles come back for it. Riles is going to hold on. Timeout. He is a stud. I think he's only a junior as well, so we have him for 1 more year after this. But right up the middle of the field again, I try to force it, and it's going to be picked off. Why do I do this? I will say, we have outplayed them here in the second half. And on this 3rd and 2, Riles again, first down. I'm putting on shoe clock, and I'm running this game out. There's no stupid turnover, and we should be fine here. Rule, just rely on him in the offensive line, 4 yards. And as long as, even if we just get a field goal, make it a 2-possession game, we should be perfectly fine. We just need really 1 first down. And here, favorite target again, to our tight end, 1st and goal. North Texas will obviously begin to use their timeouts, but I think as long as we can just get in the end zone, we're going to take it. And on 3rd and goal here, I am going to try and pass for it. Just no turnover, and right up the middle of the field, it's going to be caught by our running back, and it's a 2-touchdown game. Our defense held 28-14. North Texas got off to a fairly good start, but we locked up a win, a massive win for us, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that does give us those 2 4-stars that were here on a visit. There is the 4-star safety, and now the moment of truth. Can we get the wide receiver I've been wanting? And we do. Ronnie Lay. We get both of our 4-star recruits that showed out for the game. That is huge for us. We also have this other 4-star receiver. So 2 4-star receivers, a 4-star free safety. We are cooking with the recruits, even another quarterback, Brett Waddle. A program-defining win. That is huge. No matter how the rest of the season goes, getting a handful of 4 stars and continuing to just build on our 3 stars from last season, it's just going to be huge for us. And at this point, I'm just going to the prospect list and pretty much adding any top player that I think could help us, like this corner, right outside linebacker, all these other 3 stars. I still think are fairly good ads for us, especially when they're positions of need. And heading into our rivalry game against Charlotte, we split against Temple, and Navy destroyed Temple 48-13, but lost in a pretty close one at the Navy Shipmen. But I think Charlotte might be the last game I want to hop into in the regular season because FAU, Army, I mean, they're not great teams, and we also just have really no connection with them. In a season where making the college football playoff is not reachable for us, all I want to do is try and lock up a bowl game against our cross-state rival and then hop into that bowl game and see what we can do. But recruiting continues to just go very well for us. We have officially 8 players signed and then a handful others that we're still in some key battles for. But I'm pretty optimistic we have a good chance to get a good handful of these players. I still just keep adding in a bunch of other players where eventually, once I do have some recruiting hours opened, I can scout these guys and then offer the ones that can help our team. But here we are against Charlotte, and it's a 7-7 game with them already driving again inside our 10-yard line. A beautiful play here from Wilson. But this Charlotte team is having a good season, 6-3. They've routinely had our number in this series, so a win to clinch a bowl game would be really big for us, but the running back is going to fight to the 2. So being able to defeat them, clinch a bowl game, and kind of jump them in the standings would be awesome as well, but the running back is going to fight his way in for 6. And now with the 2-minute warning, it's a 14-point game. We're struggling to stop the Charlotte offense. I'm going to just lob one up down the field. Hope our receiver Sowell can go get it. Our best receiver on the team. What a catch. Mossing the corner. And we're in business here to score before halftime. Texas route wide open. Clue has some green grass in. He's going to fight his way into the end zone. It's 21-14. Charlotte's trying to get some points for themselves as well. And here, it's going to be caught. How is that caught? And now Charlotte's at the 5-yard line. They're still going to try and run a play here. Firing to the end zone. It's going to be caught. We can't stop their offense. They're just dicing us up. Max Brown and the crew. But again, one-on-one coverage on the outside this time. It's swatted away. We've got to put a touchdown on the board here. We've got to. Our defense finally got to stop, but it doesn't matter if we can't capitalize into some points. Beautiful catch. 7-point game. But it's like every time we score, Charlotte brings it right back down the field. Somebody has to make an impact play on defense. It's going to be fired underneath. Their tight end's going to hold on. I don't know what it is. We haven't been able to force a turnover or get Max Brown into a mistake. I'm bringing a blitz here right up the middle. It is going to be a throw, though, and it's going to be another touchdown. It's a 14-point game again. I just audibled Sowell to be on a go route here. He's got one-on-one coverage. He should be able to get to that ball, and it's overthrown, of course. I mean, of course. Is anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised that a perfectly open wide receiver gets overthrown? And now here on 4th and 1, we've got Connor, our tight end, with a nice catch. And my game plan here is to score and then go for 2. We see it all the time in the NFL, teams that are down by 2 touchdowns, to try and go for 2 the first time. Because then if you score again, you just kick the field goal, you win the game. And Garcia's under pressure, firing to the end zone. Beautiful play, actually. Now we're going for 2. Here we go. This is a big play. This is a big, big play. Drag route underneath. Riles dropped it. Our defense did get a 3-and-out, though. We still have all 3 timeouts as well. We want a big punt return here, get us in scoring position, and let's just go tie this game up. Beautiful punt return. We have some green grass. There goes Engelman down the right sideline. Can he break the angle? He can't. But we're inside the 30. This has been an absolute shootout today. And I'm trying to find somebody open. I just threw it almost right to that linebacker. Someone's got to make a play on this offense. I just got to dump it off here, this drag route. There's too much green grass for Riles. And Riles is going to make it 3rd and 10. 2 downs to clinch a bowl game. Going to dump it off underneath to Clue. Clue's going to fight for it, and he's got it. Clue has been the man all season in clutch spots. Another one right there. 1st and goal now. And pass rush Garcia. Oh, he couldn't get there. I wasn't confident in cutting that one loose. Clue, out route, hold on to it. Clue's in the end zone. We got to go for 2 to tie it. Comes down to this. 2-point conversion. Looking. Garcia just run for it. Garcia's got it. It's a tie game. And now the thing is here. We got to hold Charlotte, but if we can somehow muster a stop, we've got 3 timeouts. So here we go, the 1st and 10 play. It's underneath. Tackle. I don't want to use a timeout because I just don't want to save Charlotte some time. But if we can get a sack here or a negative play, then we call a timeout. It's going to be fired. Curl route. He dropped it. Huge play from our defense. And now what does Charlotte do? Do they try and run this? There's no way they run it, right? It's going to be a run. Somebody tackle the running back. He's going to pick it up. And now we've got the 3rd and 10 play. We could give ourselves a punt return potentially if we get a stop here. It's going to be another little play action. He's going to be sacked. Timeout. Keon Keeley with his 3rd sack. I think that's the guy that we got in the transfer portal last year, making a huge play for us. And now we just get a punt return here and maybe one play to try and get in field goal range. We had a great punt return last time. Can we do it again? Engelman to the 45. So now we got a Hail Mary. I'm going to try and do my best Jaden Daniels impression here and see if we can get one to go. Garcia, perfect pass into the end zone. Can somebody come down with it? There's going to be a penalty. What's the call? I think it's going to be pass interference on Charlotte. That, I don't think it's going to get us in field goal range, but pretty close. I don't think we can make this, but I'm going to try it. 57 yards. This would truly be an amazing finish to this game. I think that's going to be far enough to the right. I didn't put enough power on it. What am I doing? We could have had it if I put a little bit more power. We're going to OT. Well, we're on offense first, so scoring a touchdown and then putting the pressure on them is the game plan. Garcia, again, not going to count for his legs. I'm just going to take off, and Garcia, so I didn't even get that first. What a game this has been here in the 4th quarter. Really having a nice comeback win. Had a chance at a long field goal to win it. We're in overtime now, and Garcia gets another pass out, and Riles, my favorite player on this offense, scores another touchdown. So Charlotte must get in the end zone, and then they'll have a chance to go for 2 or kick the extra point. And I'm starting this play off with a blitz. We need to try to get home, get a negative play here, and Max Brown's going to take a huge sack. Keon Keeley with his 4th of the game. He was either a really high 3-star or a 4-star transfer, and he has just been a huge impact player on our defense. Another play, and he's going to be sacked again. Who was it this time? I don't think it was Keeley, but we had our 5th sack of the game. And now Charlotte is in big trouble because they cannot get even a pass off without Keeley and our other edge rusher getting home. 3rd and 27. Keeley again off the edge. He's going to get home. Keeley, again, he's going to bring him down. Keeley with his 5th sack. Keeley is a generational pass rusher. Can he do it again? For the 3rd time in overtime. Keeley, he can't get there, but Max Brown's going to lob one up deep, and it's going to be picked off by Nash. That is going to be the ball game. Charlotte is going to choke away a game, and what a victory for the ECU Pirates. We end the regular season with a record of 7-5, defeating Army 17-0 in the last game of the season. Actually a fairly good stepping stone for us, even defeating UTSA, who is now ranked. With all the talent we have coming in next year, I think we could be an 84, 85 overall potentially. And then after another year of progression and maybe our freshman quarterback improving, I think in year number 4, we have a chance to compete for a national championship. I really do. One bad news is our defensive coordinator, Kenneth Hayter. He's down to a D+, so you kind of know my rule. He's going to be fired, and we're going to be looking for a new offensive coordinator once again. Our bowl game is going to be the Fenway Bowl against Virginia Tech, a fairly decent team, actually, an ACC opponent. We'll take that. And on early national signing day, before we even get into the transfer portal, we have 9 players officially signed, and then a good bulk where we are leading or very close to the top of these players' interest boards. So I think we're probably going to end up with around 15 to 20 players, which is definitely a decently sized class, especially with the amount of 4 stars we have. We can take a look and see where we sit in terms of top classes before the transfer portal. I don't think it's going to be outrageously good, but I think around where we were last year, definitely, and we're going to come in at number 50 on the dot. But here we go against Virginia Tech. We actually have a lot of fans showing out for this bowl game. They haven't seen a win for a bowl in quite some time. We're trying to do that today against an ACC team. And honestly, couldn't have a worse start. The first moment on offense I'm stepping into, it's a 14-0 hole. And I'm trying to just maneuver, find somebody open, and Clue actually held on. I tell you what, I don't know the future of Clue because we have been recruiting some running backs the last 2 years, but he's been a pretty good player for us offensively, really been clutch in a lot of situations, and Clue juking out the defenders, bringing it to the 1. And this was a much-needed score before half, but the question is, can we stop Virginia Tech from scoring again before halftime? Clue, 14-7. And to answer my question, it was no. It's now 28-7 in the 4th quarter, not really looking too good. Nobody's going to block him, and I take another sack. And now it's kind of desperation mode. The hole that we got into a little bit too early definitely was too much to overcome. Now, it does suck. We're going to be losing a decent amount of players on this offense, but I'm also excited for the future. Just so many 4 stars and a lot of talent that ECU really never has. And Garcia here, off-script play. And our defense got us the ball back with 3 minutes to go. Are you saying there's a chance? Are you saying that there is a chance? And pressure instantly. I try to throw it away, and it's intentional grounding. And now we have 3rd and very, very long, and I'm trying to find somebody open, just lob this slam right up the field. Can we get to it? It's going to be caught by Sowell, and Sowell's going to get out of bounds. That's a big play. As we did in the Charlotte game, we're going for 2 if we score here to try and give us ourselves a chance to win this game in regulation, but nobody open here, just throw it away. And when you play these good teams, I think this is really where you kind of notice the talent gap that we have. But a nice dot here to Sowell again. Really our only premier wide receiver. We're going for 2. We have somehow battled back in this game, and we have a chance to cut it to 6 points here. Garcia, get outside the pocket. He's got our receiver. It's a 6-point game. We have 3 timeouts. Jake Garcia, he's not going out without a fight. And now 1st and 10 for the Hokies. We force them on a 3-and-out. They're going to get nervous. Here we go. Run. A beautiful play from our linebacker. It's 2nd and 10. The 2-minute warning is hit. I'm just going to run commit 2 straight plays, call our timeouts, and get the ball back with plenty of time and a timeout left. Another run up the middle here, and we're going to miss a tackle. It's 3rd and 3. I am going to get out of nickel, go to 3-4, and this is definitely a surefire run here. The question, though, is can we stop it? That is the question. Drones is going to audible. I still think it's going to be a run commit up the middle. And can we get home? We do. Timeout. A huge play from our defense, and it gives us a chance. Down 28-7 in the 4th quarter to go down the field and win this game. A legacy moment for Jake Garcia in his last ever game. Gonna start off with a high percentage throw, a screen pass to Klue. There's no need to risk a pass early in this down, and how does that happen? How does that happen? He gets stuck on our tackle, and I don't even have an option to throw the ball to him. That is unbelievable. But again, across the middle of the field here, I see a receiver, and it's going to be caught by Leverett. What a snag that was. And Klue, I'm going to lob one up on the wheel route. Klue, he can't get to it. He missed him, and now we have a 4th and 3 for the game. Garcia trying to scramble outside the pocket. Garcia, it's going to be picked off, and we're going to lose. I shouldn't have left the pocket, and Garcia couldn't outrun the defensive end. I thought we had a chance to win it. And we're going to come up a little bit short here on year number 2 with our first bowl game. Stats for the season, 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns to 17 picks for Garcia. Klue had 700 yards and 6 touchdowns himself. Receiving, Leverett, Riles, and Sowell, a pretty good 3-headed monster. And we could potentially get all 3 of these guys back this year with our 2 new 4-stars coming for the wide receiver position. Defensively, I already know who's going to lead us in sacks. It is the man Keon Keeley, who had 5 sacks, I think, in that game against Charlotte. And picks-wise, 4 for Amarian Lewis, a redshirt freshman. So he can have a big jump up in progression next year, but not actually a lot of turnovers forced. A quick look at the college football playoff bracket. We actually had Hawaii. They made the college football playoffs. That was actually my last rebuild on this channel. That's kind of funny that they made it. As always, a lot of seniors leaving due to graduation, but we are going to be losing a big handful of transfers, including Keon Keeley, the star of our defense. A low % chance to get him back, but I'm going to try it just because he was so good for us, and he is actually going to stay. All right, I didn't think we had a chance there, but he's actually going to stay for us. That's huge. We're bringing a lot of quarterbacks. I don't even really care about Hauser that he's leaving. But the rest of these guys, I mean, I would really like them back. I mean, they're still fairly young as well. We are going to get Dwight Johnson back, another good stay. Emmanuel Poku, I think he was a backup for us on the offensive line. He won't stay. We'll try Riddy Jr. That's 1 letter away from being a little bit suspect, but he's not going to stay as well. We'll try Julian Davis, and he won't stay, and then hopefully our last player in Javion Clark will, and he will. So we got the most important player back, but definitely would have liked to get a handful of these other guys. In the transfer portal, we do have some solid players, and we still have some positions of need. So I am going to add these guys to the board, and I think the transfer portal has been really beneficial for us, especially last season, really getting the best player on our defense. But a lot of offensive line players and players in the secondary, I mean, all these guys could really help us. Well, here's officially National Signing Day as I expected. 18 players signed, so roughly in that 15 to 20 range that I thought. Let's take a look at the top classes. We added a handful of 3-stars. Should that move it up a little bit? I think so, and we are number 38, so that's actually a fairly good recruiting class. 14 3-stars and 4 4-stars. Hopefully in the next couple years, we can even get ourselves a 5-star recruit. And now the moment of truth. Our training results for year number 3. And oh my goodness, the team actually looks pretty good on paper. 86 overall across the board, but actually not a ton of high overalls. Like 86 is the highest player on our team. I feel like our overalls skewed a little bit. This is not showing our new freshman players though, so maybe that has a slight impact. Our quarterback one right now is Raheem Jeter, an 80 overall redshirt junior. At running back, Klue had a decent improvement, not much from TJ Engelman, who, look at his speed and athleticism. I think he will be our starting running back this year. But receiver, Sowell continues to improve. He's a good player. Same with Leverett. I really like our weapons on the outside. And Connor and Riles are both back this year. 2 of my favorite targets from a season ago. Our offensive line is really high 70s or in the low 80s. So our offensive line should be pretty good this year. Our defensive line, though, looks like it is going to have to be carried by a couple of key players. Our linebacking core, though, is fairly deep and good. Our secondary, we're a little bit thin at corner, but 2 fairly good safeties. I'm pretty happy with the improvement this year. I don't really know how accurate 86 overall is across the board, but hey, I'll take it. Here's a look at our 4-star gem quarterback, Jelani Bettis, and it's not as good as I wanted it to be. I mean, there are a decent amount of skill caps. I think he could probably get up to like maybe an 85 overall, but nothing super special. Here's our first look at the recruits for this year and a 4-star tight end. I already said I really like my tight end, so Mike McPrescott, maybe a cousin of Dak Prescott. We're going to add him to the list, a 4-star tight end. We also have another one here, Daniel Feeney. So a lot of tight ends actually, but it's really going to be the same strategy for me recruiting wise. We don't really have a ton of hours every year. You can't really see because my face cam is covering it, but we only have 575 hours. It's really not enough to scout a bunch of these guys and then offer them as well. So we got to be kind of mindful about that. And our schedule for this season is not as hard as last year, I don't think. We start off with West Virginia at home. We had number 5 NC State on the road last year. And then App State, that's a good rivalry game for us in this state. Duke, an ACC team as well in the state of North Carolina. And then Old Dominion, not too hard. And then we begin conference play once again. I'm really hoping this year we can be in the battle to potentially be the top team in our conference. One area I don't know what I want to do is with the quarterback position. So technically Raheem Jeter is the best player on our team, but Jelani Bettis, he's a freshman, only 5 overalls behind him, also 3 years younger, and his speed is better, his acceleration, his movement is better, and his throwing stats are roughly the same. But do I want to just redshirt Bettis, have him develop this year? Jay Jennings is also a fairly good option. He's a 72 overall, but has good athleticism. He's still fairly young. I don't know what I really want to do with the quarterback position. I think I might just start Jeter, let him get his chance, redshirt Jelani Bettis, and then kind of hope that he takes a step up after this season. And then same with our 2 freshman receivers. I don't think these guys need to play for us this year as well. I mean, we have 4 players that are better than them. I just hope none of these guys want to transfer if we don't play them as true freshmen. And also not a great start for us with this really good tight end prospect. We have a deal breaker, so I'm going to keep him on the board just to monitor the situation, but probably just going to have to go after Feeney here, who might even be better because he's got a gym. But here we go to start off year number 3. A kind of rainy and gloomy day here in Greenville, North Carolina, going up against West Virginia, who is ranked. Can we start off back-to-back seasons with a huge win? I guess let's take a look at this new offense. We do have Jeter as our new starting quarterback. He's not very mobile whatsoever. And on this first play, I'm trying to run out, and we're going to find Sowell for 6 yards. He's really going to be the stud on our offense this year. We still have roughly the same pieces. Just a new quarterback. The offensive line is better and doesn't really show it there. But I did go ahead and redshirt our 2 freshman quarterback. I just kind of want to wait and see how they can progress and if they can be the future of our program. And here, beautiful throw, first down. I'm somebody that gets kind of frantic-y in the pocket, so I kind of want to have a mobile quarterback. And Jeter is definitely not mobile, but he can still sit in the pocket, be a nice little pocket passer for us. And if he can get out to our weapons, we can have an effective offense. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Sowell on this opening drive. He's getting open, and he's making things happen after the catch. And here, nothing open. I'm going to take a sack. But 2nd and 19 now, and just look at this. So much green grass, but we really can't take advantage of it because Jeter is so slow. And now on 3rd and 9, I think across the middle of the field, our tight end is on one-on-one coverage, and Connor, he's going to hold on to it. And Sowell should have one-on-one coverage here, and it's not going to be open, but across the middle of the field, come back to the read. It is Clark, and it's 7-0 ECU. But West Virginia, they have responded fairly well offensively, as they're going to find their tight end here, and he's going to pick up 7 yards. Looks like they're going to try and utilize their running back a lot in this offense, but we want to try to hold him with 3 points here. Nice run commit. It's 3rd and 5. Going to try and get him off the field here. Drag right across the middle of the field is open to their tight end, and he's going to break a couple of tackles and get down to the 1. I think this is going to be a pretty easy prediction. It's just going to be run up the middle. Actually, I'm wrong, and it's going to be a touchdown instead. Look at me. And now in the middle of this 3rd quarter, it's a 14-10 game, but we are on the move. I'm just going to dump it off here to our running back, Clue, and he's going to break a tackle. Look at Clue. He said, I know you have a nice running back waiting in the wings, but my goodness, that was a beautiful play. And he's open again on this Texas ride. A beautiful throw from Jeter. And our offense is cooking. But our defense, unfortunately, couldn't get a crucial stop. So now we have to go down and score another touchdown here. And on 2nd and 2, Jeter going to make a man miss. Not known for his mobility, but Jeter, 82 yards rushing today. I think he's got, what, 72 speed? And the whole offense is cooking right now. Everybody's got the hot emoji, and I think across the middle of the field, I had a receiver. We're still going to fire this to the end zone. He should get to it. Fox, hold on. And Fox is going to fight to the 1. This is against a pretty formidable team as well. And our offense is performing really, really well. Get into the end zone, and this time that could have been picked. And because of that, I'm not going to mess around anymore. Give it to Clue, who's been running through people, and have him get a half a foot. Clue, into the end zone. We're back in front. The question now is, can we get a stop? They got a star quarterback. They got a star running back. Not too many great receivers, which does help us, but we need to force them on a 3-and-out here. And the running back covered him nicely. It's incomplete. Pass rush didn't even get close there, so I'm going to bring a little blitz here. Might not go super well for us, but I'm going to guard this middle of the field with Fleming, and hopefully somebody can get home. It's going to be thrown underneath, exactly what I feared, and the receiver brings it to the 41. So the problem with bringing a blitz, we have to get home if I'm going to bring one. So again, I'm going to try and use our Fleming here and have a free rusher from our nickel cornerback spot. So here we go, throwing over to the middle of the field again, and our corner Tony got torched. We need Keeley to make a play, the star of our defense, and another check down here for 4 yards. The good news is they might not be in field goal range, and even if they are, we'll have plenty of time. We just got to get him off the field. Another check down here, and he's going to be short, but I think they are in field goal range. I'm not going to call my timeouts. I'll save 3 of them. A minute is plenty of time, and maybe they can miss this. I'm not really expecting it here, but it is in the rain, on the road, stadium pulse going crazy, and the kick, and we ran into the kicker. The CPU ran into the kicker, and now they're going to just try and get a touchdown now. Are you kidding? And just like that, they're at the 13-yard line. What is the CPU doing? They're trying to blow this game for me here. And it's going to be another run up the middle here to their running back, and I almost just want to let him score. I guess I'm going to try and run commit. It's going to be a pass, and their quarterback, he's under some pressure, and how is that not picked? We need somebody to make a play, force a turnover or something. Their quarterback has all day. He's still looking in the end zone. Nobody's getting home. He's going to fire to the end zone. It's picked off by Day. That was the play that we needed. And that is going to be the ball game. Another huge win for ECU against a ranked opponent to start this season. That's a gritty win right there. Recruiting-wise, there's not really too much to update. I mean, we are just pouring a lot of our resources into some of the top 4 stars, and then I don't know how effective this strategy is, just really spreading all of my hours out to so many players. It worked somewhat last year, but we are starting to lose out on a decent amount of players because we can't pour in the necessary assets. But through the end of conference play, we are 3-1. We lost to Appalachian State 24-16, which kind of sucks, but came back and defeated Duke and defeated Old Dominion. Pretty convincing wins as well. And now conference play will begin against UTSA at home, a bye week, and then we get really into the bulk of conference play. And I think, again, with 3 wins out of conference, I think a bowl game is a near lock at this point. And recruiting-wise, it's not going super good. We have 2 3-star recruits that have committed, but this tight end officially has locked us out, so no need to have him. The other tight end, Daniel Feeney, went to Duke. He didn't even come to our visit, so he's off the board as well. This other 4-star recruit, Amari Kopp, he went to NC State. So another 4-star recruit that we are losing out on. We're in the lead for a bunch of these 3 stars as well, but it's not going to be as good as last class. At least it doesn't look like it. But this season has actually gone really, really good so far. We are 5-2. We had a lot of big wins. UTSA, Tulane destroyed them. And we were actually ranked after this game. And I thought, you know what? We can beat Rice no problem as the number 25 team in the country. And then, of course, at home, we lay an egg and we lose and we're no longer ranked. The good news is we're still 2-1 in the conference, so we do have a chance to still make the conference championship if we can win out. But I wanted to wait and hop into this game against Charlotte. They're having a really good season as well, 5-2, and hopefully for the 2nd straight year, we can take them down. And so far in this game, it's an offensive battle. Charlotte went down the field and scored. We're back in the red zone now, and here on this little out route, we're going to find Fox, who's going to pick up 6 yards. And from everything that I can tell, our offense has been really good this year. Maybe I underestimated Jeter a little bit as just a pocket passer because I think he's been very efficient. Obviously, we'll take a look at his numbers after this season, but from how many points we've been scoring in our wins, I've been pretty intrigued with what I've seen so far. And firing to the end zone here, Jeter almost picked. We're going to go forward here on 4th and 1. Hopefully just hand it off to Clue. He's got it. Easy first down. We're inside the 3. And now we're going to look to the end zone, slant route, wide open. Stevens, touchdown. But just like last year against the 49ers, it's really all offense. And I don't know why that corner is so far on the left side of the screen, but okay, that's fine. We'll take it. And we're going to dump it off here to Clue. He's going to try and make a corner miss. He can't, but we're inside the 6. 2nd and goal play, another handoff up inside to Clue, and he's going to break a couple of tackles and get to the 1. And we're just going to do the exact same thing again. Rely on our offensive line, and now even a different running back in, but it doesn't matter. Armstrong, touchdown, tie game. Our defense, which feels like one of our only stops so far today, and we're going to get a chance to return this punt, which was an absolutely awful one, and it's going to be fair caught. I like so well on this little hitch route. That's not going to be open. Try to move up the pocket with Jeter. I see a receiver down the field. It's going to be caught by Leverett. That's a huge play. I guess Charlotte is not going to use their timeouts yet, but I'm sure after this run, they'll try and use it to stop the clock, give themselves a chance. As Clue, he's only going to pick up 3 yards. And now the play of the game. 3rd and 2, Clue up the middle, beautiful blocking, and he just barely got it. We're basically in business. As long as we don't fumble the football, we're going to have like a 20-yard field goal and be able to take Charlotte down for the 2nd straight year. And they're actually 5-2, a pretty formidable team this year. Clue just go down And here we go. 20 yards away. Just going to line it up, and that should be good. It is. 2 seconds left, and it's over. ECU walks into Charlotte and wins 24-21, gets our season back on track. And we're one of the best teams in the conference this year. And look at this. After the win, we are moving up to number 22 in the country, which is really cool to see. I feel like we'd probably be top maybe 15 if we had not lost the game to Rice. But nonetheless, we are ranked in year number 3. This is a pretty nice development. Recruitment-wise, we're up to 4 3-star recruits and still just putting all the hard sells on these other 3-stars, really going after a lot of defensive players. I feel like last year was mainly our wide receivers, offensive line, and quarterback, and this year it's in the secondary, it's our linebacking core, and we're just trying to get as many of these players as we can. I'm also just adding in other 3-stars that are on the prospect list that are recommended for us. Nothing really crazy. I mean, there's really no 4-star player left. I think only Pryor is the only high school 4-star recruit that we're going to be able to get this cycle, which is kind of disappointing. But in the meantime, we had a very unfortunate loss, 33-13 against Memphis. We were up to the number 15 team in the country, and now I don't really know how the outlook of our season's going to go. Charlotte's up to the number 14 team in the country. We defeated them on the road. Of course, we also defeated West Virginia, so 2 teams inside the top 15. Pretty good wins. But the last game of the regular season at home, I'm going to have to hop into against Army. They're 6-4, actually better than Memphis. I don't know why we got blown out in this game. Jeter had himself a decent game. I mean, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I'm not exactly sure what went wrong here. It looks like their quarterback just had a really good game. But nonetheless, it says we are the 2nd team in the American. So maybe if we do win this game against Army, we will make the conference championship game and maybe have a chance, an outside chance, at that automatic bid for the mid-major team. Probably the most important game of the rebuild so far. A chance at the conference championship game against Army. And Army is already inside our red zone. They're going to fire this one out of bounds, and they're going to settle for 3. Don't know exactly what happened. They did not get a field goal on that possession, but they're back inside the red zone now. Must have been a turnover from our offense. So just a weird start to this game. I kind of forgot about this weird kind of option offense Army's going to run. So this will be kind of annoying to stop. So we're going to have to score some early points, but a huge stop from our defensive tackle there. This is really the key to stopping these offenses, is get them to 3rd and long, because they do not want to pass the football, and they're not very efficient at it. So here we go on 3rd and 10. I predicted pass, brought a blitz. Nobody's going to get home, and now their quarterback has a free 9 yards. And they are going to go for it here. I'm going to run commit up the middle. Can we make 2 huge stops defensively? It's going to be a penalty on the field. What's the call? Is it going to be offsides? How did we line up offsides? And on 3rd and goal at the 6, it's got to be a pass. You'd have to assume it's a pass here. Regarding all the slant routes, his quarterback has nowhere to go. Where's the pass rush? Nobody is getting home. Can somebody please get after this quarterback? The receiver's running the wrong way. What is going on? Somebody sack him, and he's just going to throw it away after all that. What is going on? Army's going to settle for a field goal after all of that. 2 red zone appearances, and they only get 3 points. We'll take that as a win. And nothing's really happened since that point. It's 6-0 in the 4th quarter, a 3rd and 10. Army has to throw for it. Our offense has done nothing all game. They're going to get sacked here from Keeley. But what is going on with our offense, which has been really good all season long? We have 0 points against Army at home. This is going to be a short punt, so we'll take that. But we still need a touchdown. I guess Jeter must not be having a good day. We're going to hit the drag route here for a guaranteed few yards. He's got 65 yards in a pick. 65 yards in a pick. Are you serious, EA? That's your sim engine right there? That's pretty unbelievable. But 2nd and 1 here at the 40. Going to try maneuver outside the pocket, have Clue go up the field and just take off and run. No need to risk it. Get out of bounds. And we're going to have one-on-one coverage across the board. Fire to the middle of the field here. It's Fox. He's going to hold on, and Fox. We're inside the red zone. And since we're kind of in business, just take some clock off. And now we can maybe fire one to the end zone, but under pressure, why would you not throw it out to the left? 3rd and 6. And again, just Clue in the flat. Clue, get upfield. It's 4th and 2 for the game. Probably my favorite route concept here, mesh. And we have Clue on the wheel route. Touchdown ECU. We take the lead with less than 30 seconds to go. We've seen this Army offense. It's not very good. They only need a field goal. They've got 3 timeouts. But can we just get one more stop? Another check down here. That's fine. That's only going to get him to 35. But look at that. We only have 7 first downs in this game. And Army is 9. That's just such an unrealistic sim. That's kind of unbelievable. But they're going to head a little swing route here. Lose 5 yards. And with 16 seconds to go, Army's maybe got 2 plays. Unless they go out of bounds. Again, the swing route play to the other side of the field. That's not going to work well for you. And one more play before we can escape from this ugly, ugly game and maybe lock up our spot in the conference championship game. He's going to throw it out of bounds. Army's got one play left. 3-man deep. We'll see if Keeley can get home potentially with a sack, and he's getting stonewalled right now. But their quarterback is just going to fire one, and it's going to be picked off. McKinley, can we pad this stat a little bit? Get to the end zone. McKinley is going to add some points with a 40-yard pick six. And it looks like Charlotte actually lost the last game of their season, so they're no longer ranked. But we're the number 18 team in the country in the conference championship game. With the win, do we make the college football playoffs? We had a 3-way tie for first place, and I guess because Charlotte beat USF, they had the tiebreaker, but this is going to be our matchup. I don't know how realistic it is that we're going to make the college football playoff. We probably need Nevada to lose, and they're going to be playing Boise State. They're 11-1. They probably will get the bid from the Mountain West if they do, in fact, hold on and win that. But here we go against the Charlotte 49ers, our rival. At home, there's no neutral site, I guess, for this championship round. But here we go, right up the middle. Jeter, plenty of green grass, just going to take off. And Jeter, not a lot of speed, but 26 yards. And we just cannot have the same start we did last week against Army. And this first possession, already much better than like what we did at all last week. And now we're going to the end zone to Sewell, and it's going to be dropped. Jeter just slightly overthrew that one. I saw that post route wide open, but he overshot him. And now we have a 2nd and 10 play. Clue, try to get him up the field. Nothing there. That would have been an amazing start on that post route. Disappointing that we couldn't hit that. But now he's got one-on-one coverage again. Let's give him a shot in the end zone. Sewell's going to hold on to it. And I think it's pass interference on Charlotte. That should be a touchdown. It is going to be caught on defense, declining that penalty. What a play from our stud receiver. And our defense so far in this game has held Charlotte in check. Love to see that. And across the middle of the field here, it's going to be held onto by Connor. Almost dropped it. And we got this similar concept with Sewell on this little post route. No deep safety where there's one's going to rotate. He's still open. Sewell, another beautiful grab. What's the penalty, though? I think it's going to be holding an eligible man downfield. That post route is dicing up Charlotte right now. But we can't get out of our own way. We cannot get out of our own way. And now again, just going to lob one to the end zone. Fox this time is going to hold on. Beautiful catch. We're inside the 3. And now at the 3-yard line, slam out wide open in the middle of the field. He held on to it. It's 14-0 Pirates. And honestly, this has just been a complete domination. 21-0. Charlotte hasn't even scored a point yet. And we have a chance to continue to run up the score. Sewell, another catch. Doesn't look like Jeter has a ton of yards, just like against Army. But he's being efficient, not turning the ball over, and making some timely plays. And another little out route here to Fox. He's going to hold on, get a 6 more. And now double slant. I think either of these guys should be open, and we have them. Across the middle of the field, Leverett, down to the 1. And now just another handoff to Clue. He's got it. Touchdown, 28-0. It's a dismantling. And the ECU Pirates are American Conference champions in year number 3. Is it enough to get us into the college football playoffs? I don't think so, but we can hope and pray. It just feels good that pretty early on in this rebuild, we've at least accomplished one major thing, and that's just being conference champions. And now, into next year, should be a pretty big stepping stone for us. And unfortunately, Nevada did win 28-20 against Boise State, so we did not move up whatsoever. 18, we're going to stay put. And I guess I was wrong, because we did make the college football playoffs. We're going up against Notre Dame, the number 2 seed, but we are in. The last team in, the number 12 seed, against 11-1 Notre Dame. So a very, very tough matchup. But if we do win, we have Nevada and then potentially Oregon. But honestly, it's just the fact that we've made it in year number 3. That's just an amazing accomplishment. An early national signing day, we have around, it looks like 12 players signed to the team. We still have a handful of other players we're going after. But it's going to take our best effort today on the road against Notre Dame, who is a 90 overall team across the board. Our team is fairly young. We definitely have some limitations, and we're going up against a powerhouse. And the Irish did score first, but I think we just forced an interception, so that's why we are approaching the end zone. But here's Leverett underneath. He's going to pick up the first down, and now only needing 6 yards. I think we just rely on the run game here. Try and just pound one in, and there is Clue, our stud running back, in for 6. Now in the third quarter, that is the biggest thing you notice when you play these teams. Just their defensive line is just insane. And now we're going to try and lob one up to Clue. He's going to hold on to it. Clue. And we didn't turn it into any points, but we're back in the red zone again. And here I'm going to fire to Leverett, and Leverett's going to turn it upfield. We're down to the 1. I don't know how we're in this game. We have 2 picks for Jeter. And we're about to score our fourth. Well, I spoke too soon. Second and goal. But our defense, I don't know how our defense is playing so well. We don't have like amazing talent over there, but we're somehow sticking together with the Irish and just have to get rid of that one. 3rd and goal now. And again, just have to dump it underneath, and Bynum's going to hold on to it. I guess we just got to kick this field goal. I'm pretty reluctant to do so, but... And how did he miss it? I had that fall over to the left. There's no way he just missed a 15-yard field goal. I still just cannot believe we missed the go-ahead kick. Literally a chip shot. I think you get a kid from College Game Day to step out there and get it. And now it's going to be thrown and almost picked off. And we're actually going to have a chance here with first-year starting quarterback Jeter. That was almost picked off. I'm going to try and take a shot here to Sewell. Hopefully we can get the pass off, and we can. One-on-one coverage. We've got Leverett, and Leverett's going to hold on for the touchdown. What a play call, and Leverett holds on, and ECU's in front, stunning the crowd. And Notre Dame on 4th and 2 is going to go for it here. This is the ball game. The running back's going nowhere. See you later, Irish. The ECU Pirates just walked into Notre Dame and took down one of the best teams in the playoffs. Our quarter-final matchup is going to be against Nevada, who is 12-1, a powerhouse team. And here comes Nevada for the Cotton Bowl. We went right down the field our first possession, but so did Nevada, because they're inside our 10-yard line here. 1st and goal, firing to the back of the end zone, and it's tied up. But really outside of that, it's a pretty back-and-forth game, and we're going to fumble here with Jeter. Jeter, are you serious, man? And their lineman is faster than mine. So they're going to take it all the way back for 6. You just can't make the... How do you let that happen? We had more yardage than them. We're really outplaying them. And then that crucial scoop and score sways the entire game. And now across the middle of the field here is Fox. And Fox has some green grass. And Fox is going to move it up into the 39. We'll see if that safety rotates down. I want to try Sewell 101, but he's not going to. But we have our other receiver here in Leverett. And Leverett, he's not going to catch it. Had the shot. Pretty decent throw. Just couldn't get the connection. And Sewell, he's not going to be open here. Guess we're going to try and underthrow this little post route we do to Clark. It's our first down. Have a chance to tie this game up before halftime. And looking up the seam here, it's going to be caught by Fox into the end zone. Beautiful little 2-minute drill there. And the next moment I have the opportunity to step into, it's the 4th quarter. We're down by 3 again. We did score a touchdown, but so did Nevada. And now they're in the red zone again. That should have been a pick. I'm going to run commit up the middle again. We have to make a play. It's a pass. The quarterback's looking to the end zone. That should have been picked as well. 2 straight, and we got to run commit again. We just have to make a stop. We cannot allow a touchdown to make this a 2-possession game. And of course, the CPU with some cheesy RPO. I mean, our offense is moving it up and down the field against Nevada. Our defense has just been unable to stop anybody. And here's Sewell. Too early of a pass. It's picked. We had a chance. Our defense just a little bit short. In the Cotton Bowl. Really good year 3 for us, but obviously just a pretty bitter end. Stats for the season, Raheem Jeter, 3,300 yards, 28 touchdowns to 13 picks. Actually kind of better than what Garcia was doing. Clue had a good season, 900 yards and 10 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Fox, Leverett, Sewell, Connor, pretty good options out wide. Defensively, I'm really excited to see this, and oh my goodness. Dwight Johnson Jr., a redshirt junior, 11.5 sacks, 10.5 sacks, for Keon Keeley. Both of these guys are redshirt juniors. I hope they come back. Picks-wise, Alani Day, a redshirt sophomore, had 5 picks, 2 picks for Kevon Merrill, and so many picks spread across the board. Our defense was just elite this year. Nevada did get destroyed by Oregon in the next round, and they went on to win a national championship 45-17 against Miami. Always a pretty bittersweet end of the season. We're going to be losing out on a lot of good players, including Chase Sewell, our best receiver, Grayson Clue, who got up to an 85 overall during the season, and we also have some more transfers, including Ronnie Lay, who I did worry about this. He wants to transfer. I'm hoping that we can get back these players, though, because again, they're still fairly young and also really good players. So Miles, we're going to get him back. An offensive guard, Ronnie Lay. Please stay, man. And he's not going to. So we're going to miss out on Ronnie Lay because of pro potential. So that Jim 4-star is leaving before he even takes a snap for us. Ryan Stevens, does he want to stay? He will. And it doesn't look like we're going to get Malik Leverett back. And he actually is. So I guess the good news is we get Leverett back and we're going to miss out on our tight end. So we're going to miss out on some weapons, which kind of sucks. I wish we could keep Lay. I wanted to see how he would progress, and same with Connor. The transfer portal is pretty interesting. The number 6 overall player, Isaiah Crumpler, he wants to come to ECU. We're the number 1 on his interest meter. Obviously going to add him to the board. And we also have some other 4-star cornerbacks. So actually could really revamp our secondary if we get a couple of those guys. I don't love the idea of going after some 2-stars, but I guess because their position of need could potentially, but again, I don't really love it because these guys probably aren't going to be super good for us. But here is a look at our recruiting class in year number 3. We officially have 21 players signed. We did, in fact, get one of the best players in the transfer portal. Isaiah Crumpler was a tight battle, but we got the number 1 corner in the transfer portal from Simpson, North Carolina, 6-foot man-to-man tendency. He is going to be a stud in our secondary for the next couple of years. In terms of where we ranked, I think we were, 42 last year, and we are going to be still going pretty far down. I thought we were going to be a little bit higher than this. Number 64. And so we did take a slight dip back, kind of surprising actually, but I guess it is because we don't have as many top end players, but I still feel like a pretty decent class overall. And as always, the most exciting part, in my opinion, of these rebuilds is the training results of all our players. And this is by far the best roster we've had. 90 overall, Blaine Trihan at center. Keeley's up to an 88. Johnson's up to an 88. Both of these guys are studs. Our secondary is loaded as well. At quarterback, not a ton of progression from any of our young guys. Raheem Jeter looks like the experience really did help him improve, but Jelani Bettis, really not much improvement, although he does have some good mental and physical abilities. Not exactly where you would want him to be after a year of quote-unquote development. At running back, I moved Stevens to halfback, and he absolutely exploded. Of course, still have Engelman, who just has crazy athleticism, but our backfield is pretty good. At receiver, Leverett with 99 speed and 96 acceleration is our top receiver, but outside of him, it's not super great. We do have the guy from last year, Caldclough. He was one of the guys we recruited, the 4-star. He's okay, not great athleticism, but he will be kind of our big-bodied receiver. At tight end, definitely taking a dip with Connors leaving. The offensive line is definitely the best that it's been. A lot of high 80 overalls, which you love to see. The defensive line, not too shabby either. But when you get the linebackers, I mean, Keeley, Merrill Jr., Johnson Jr., I mean, it's just loaded. But for whatever reason, this is not showing the 4-star insane transfer corner we had. I'm expecting his overall to be like up into the 80s, maybe low 90s. I mean, he's a really, really good player. But a free safety, we're really good as well, strong safety. And then kicker, punter. But I mean, this team is definitely the best we've had. Just got to keep an eye on quarterback and see how Jeter performs this year. He is a redshirt senior. And if maybe we do need to boost from either Bettis or Jennings. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Crumpler, 87 overall, 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 98 agility. This guy is just an insane athlete. In recruiting this year, I'm going to get a little bit bold. I'm adding some 5-stars to our board of positions of need. We were in the interest board of a couple of them, like Ben Jordan here, this defensive tackle, number 2, right out of the gate. But I'm going to try and pour some resources because we do have a lot more this year, 750 hours to start off the season. So we're going to try and go after some 5-stars. Not really expecting too much. Maybe we can land 1 or 2 of them. But after a playoff win, after really building more prestige the last couple of years, I think we do have a shot to build a really, really good recruiting class, and definitely the best potentially in the state of North Carolina for any school. Our schedule for the season in year number 4 starts off with FCS Northwest, a pretty easy game, but then 2 North Carolina battles, Wake Forest, and then the Tar Heels on the road, the number 7 team in the country. That is going to be a tough one. And through the first 2 weeks of the season, we destroyed FCS Northwest, shut them out, and then we shut out an ACC opponent in Wake Forest 36-0 as well. A fantastic start for this team, and I actually have something else to show you guys. Our new starting quarterback is, in fact, Jelani Bettis. I don't know if this is the right decision. He's only a 76 overall compared to the 82 for Raheem Jeter, but due to the athleticism and the speed, I think Bettis gives us a higher ceiling. And if things do not work out this year, I want him to have some experience for next season where we truly can go on a run. But a truly fantastic start for us. So we're the number 12 team in the country early in this season. And recruiting, we're actually in a lot of good battles for some of these 5-stars. And starting off 2-0 definitely helps us a lot in getting some of these players. So things are actually looking really, really good for our program right now. I mean, a lot of high-end recruits potentially coming to our school. We're off to a 2-0 start, number 12 team in the country. I do also want to hop into the game against North Carolina, against another fellow North Carolina school, and see if we can take them down. I think they were ranked in what? Inside the top 10 in the preseason poll, and now they're unranked. But here we go against the Tar Heels. This is our first look at Jelani Bettis, our 4-star gym quarterback. Leverett has, I think, 99 speed as well, the top of the screen, but we're actually going to have a drop. Perfect pass, the first play. A drive killer there from our tight end. We don't have a great tight end this year because I think Connor left in the transfer portal, and now our defense has to make a stand. 2nd and goal inside the 10 now. It's going to be run to the outside. That's a pretty good play call from the Tar Heels. And we're in an early deficit here on the road. And although this team is 0-2, they were ranked in the preseason poll for a reason, because they have a lot of talent. So this is definitely not going to be an easy game here. And Bettis is scrambling outside the pocket, fumbles the football, but now he picks it up, and he's only going to lose 3 yards. A pretty ridiculous play there, but here we go. Trying to find a running back in the flat here. It's Bynum, and he's actually going to get us into the end zone and tie this game up 7 apiece. Now here late in the 3rd quarter, we're once again with a touchdown deficit. The Tar Heels are really doing whatever they want offensively against us. And here with Bettis just trying to scramble away, throw this away. Couldn't get to the edge. And on 4th and 5, I'm going to go for this. We have to be aggressive here. Check down underneath to Bynum, and he is going to pick up the 1st down. That's huge. But we've got another 3rd down here. I'm going to lob one up to the end zone here to Leverett, and Leverett had some contact, no penalty. And I guess from 49 yards away, let's try and kick this field goal and make it a 1-possession game, although our kicker is definitely not good, but that should actually be right down the middle. 4-point ball game. And our defense, a crucial stop. And now it's a 3rd and 9 here across midfield. We're going to run a screen pass, get it out to our running back, Bynum again, and a lot of green grass. And there goes Bynum, picking up the 1st down. A touchdown here to take the lead would be absolutely massive. Again, Bynum in the flat on this little wheel route, another 1st down. And now really 1st and goal here underneath to our receiver. We're just dicing up this UNC defense, and we just took the lead. And now the question is, can our defense get a stop? We got Johnson Jr. and Keeley, 2-star pass rushers off the edge. We need them to make a play. First pass is going to be a check down underneath. It's incomplete. I'm going to send some pressure on their quarterback here. We're just trying to get a free rusher, free hit at the quarterback, maybe force a turnover, get a negative play. Their quarterback's going to scramble out here. He's got his running back, though, and he's got so much green grass. We are going to get him down, but man, it's a huge play. That was supposed to be my responsibility, but I didn't think that he could get that pass off with the pressure there. But 1st and 10 now. Their quarterback is again looking towards the end zone. This time it's going to be picked off by Fleming, and that's a huge play for us. And now a couple of 1st downs in this game. And now we're going up the seam here. It's caught by Waiters, and he's got so much green grass, I don't think he's going to be caught. You can kiss him goodbye. It's a 10-point lead for ECU. And I guess we might have just forced another turnover, and we're in the red zone again, and we have a chance to make this game kind of look like a blowout, actually. And now Bynum getting to the edge. Plenty of green grass. 9 yards. Trust in the offensive line again. Great blocking. We're in the end zone. And that's 9-9. What a rally from our team. Down pretty late in the 3rd quarter. We come all the way back and win this game pretty convincingly. Recruitment-wise, we are getting scammed out of this defensive tackle because of our playing style that's just magically appeared. I think we were number 2 for him, like before we even started going after him. So we're probably going to miss out on Ben Jordan because of a deal breaker. But now after beginning conference play, we did actually drop the game at Army 24-17, which definitely does suck. It just looks like Bettis, a young player and one of his first starts, did not play well on the road. We have won 2 straight though leading up to the game against Charlotte, against Temple and North Texas. Pretty convincing wins as well. But recruitment wise, we do have some bad news to break. So the number 1 player we're going after, Robert Macari, we still have a good chance to get him. I think we actually are going to get him as our first 5-star. A good handful of 4-stars as well. But I mean, look at these 5-stars we missed out on. We missed out on the right tackle, David Alley. Andres May, he went to Auburn. We also lost out on Ben Jordan. And then 2 other 4-stars to NC State and Tennessee. So this definitely does suck that we were not able to get a couple of 5-stars in this class. But I'm still hopeful that we can at least get maybe even 2 with Kevin Richard here. But here we go again on the road against Charlotte. I think we've beaten, what, 2 years in a row? We're trying to make it a 3rd this year. It's been a pretty decent domination. And I won't lie, it feels like every time we play this Charlotte offense, they do fairly good against our defense. I don't know what it is, but here we go. We're still driving ourselves. Here is Spain out of the backfield, getting us inside the red zone. I really like the progression of Bettis. I do think next year, if we can't win it this year, he could be a really good player for us next season. And look at that dime in the end zone. It's 7-7. And the Charlotte offense is moving it here. 3rd and 7 at the 39-yard line. We got to get a stop here. We're going underneath. We're going to get home with a sack. That's Keon Keeley. And with around 1:25 to go, I'm stepping in here to kick a field goal from about 50 yards away. So I'm not too great at these, but that's enough power, and it actually should be good. I'm getting a little bit better. But we began this third quarter with a touchdown, and we're again around midfield again. So across the middle of the field here to Spain, who's going to hold on. A nice catch. He's coming along well. I think this is going to be 4-down territory. I want to try to make this a 10-point game. Right at the sideline, caught for a touchdown. That was dicey, but we got it. And Charlotte here on 4th and inches is going to go for it. Kind of the ball game if we can stop them. I'm going to run coming up the middle. It is going to be a run up the middle, and we stuffed them. It's our ball, but it wouldn't matter. Our defense would continue to stand up strong, and we win yet another game. 24-14 against Charlotte. We did also get our first 5-star recruit of the rebuild in Robert Macari, a right outside linebacker from Baker, Louisiana. We did, though, lose out on the other 5-star, Kevin Richard. He elected to go to Wisconsin. And look at the ECU Pirates go. We had a slim win against Memphis and FAU, to be honest. 31-24 against Memphis at home. Another really good game from Jelani Bettis. We come back the following week, another home game against Florida Atlantic, who was 5-5, and we had another very close game. And Bettis, again, he's averaging like 3 touchdowns a game, it feels like. But now we have the game of the season against number 6 USF on the road. But here we go against the South Florida Bulls, stepping in here early in the first quarter, trying to get us a good start. Gonna fire up the field here to Waiters, who's gonna hold on. We're down to the 7. One area I really do need to improve is my red zone offense. And I think a play like this should work well, but that linebacker baited me so well, man. And that's why I just try and run it in the red zone, because I make mistakes like that. But 3rd and 1 here, Stevens has got the first down. I mean, we are dominating this game early on. Just that turnover was devastating. And again, underneath here, risky throw, it's incomplete. It's just on Heisman. They bait you so well. I'm like scared to fire some passes in. I like double check myself, but here in the end zone, that's going to be easy. Waiters, touchdown, 7-0. Our defense stopped them on 4th and short, and we're again moving it, getting close to the red zone here. Going to fire underneath to Spain, and he's got us inside the red zone. A 14-0 lead on the road. That would be pretty big for us. And moving outside the pocket here, just going to dump it off to a running back, but it's going to be underthrown and almost picked off. Leverett here on this end route should be open. He is going to be. Throw that on time, and Leverett holds on to it. 14-0, a strike from Bettis. And now here in the third quarter, USF does get on the board. We still have a 2-possession lead, and we're driving once again. Here's Bynum up the middle for the first. And now officially inside the red zone, a touchdown here could be kind of like the nail in the coffin. Dumping it off to Stevens, wide open, another first. And now we got a 3rd and goal from the 2. They kind of have a weak front up front, though, so we should be able to run this in, and we definitely are. Stevens, it's 21-3. That's all she wrote. 21-10 on the road against the number 6 team in the country. Just punched our ticket, I believe, to the conference championship game and the college football playoffs. Another huge win for this program. And I went ahead and simmed the game against UAB, the last game of the year, and we won 50-10. An absolute domination, bringing us in to the postseason. And recruiting wise, I'd love to keep you guys up to date, but really nothing is really going on at this point. We have a decent bulk of players, 8 officially signed, and we're still just in the lead or very close to it for a handful of other 4-star recruits. So this definitely will be our best class. But here's a look at our conference standing. There was actually a 4-way tie for second between Rice, Temple, Tulane, and USF. And we actually got probably the second worst team from those 4. And so far, not a super encouraging start. Rice has a 7-0 lead here. We have a 3rd and 9. I'm going to fire this out. Beautiful throw from Bettis. And Stevens has a lot of green grass up the sideline. Stevens, we're inside the 10. And now on 3rd and goal. See the little hitch route easily. Fox, touchdown, 7 apiece. And in the second half, we start off with a touchdown, but Rice is making an effort to tie this game back up. But we have a big 3rd and 5 here. Nowhere for this quarterback to go with the ball. He's just going to throw it away. But we do have a great chance to extend our lead here to 2 touchdowns inside the 2-yard line. And I'm just going to hand this ball off again. Trust our offensive line. Brilliant play. Stevens, touchdown, 21-7. And at this point, our defense is pretty much suffocating the Owls offense. And now we have a chance to add even more points on the board as Fox is going to catch that, maybe a little bit short of the marker. And I think it is smart here to just kick the field goal, make it a 3-possession game. So they should be lined up just enough on the right, and that is going to be good. And that would just about do it. 24-7, didn't even have to score another point in this game. Our defense just continues to be so dominant. And ECU, the number 2 team in the country, I think is going to get a first-round bye in the college football playoffs. And here is a look at the college football playoff bracket. We are the number 3 seed, so we do have a first round bye. USF again in a rematch, or Wisconsin in the quarterfinal, and then maybe Kansas State or Georgia in the semifinals if we can advance. We did also win Best Center of the Year, Blaine Trihan. Congratulations, our sophomore center. On early national signing day, we have 12 players signed and still a handful of other players I think we are going to get. This is also, again, before the transfer portal where we've been cooking. I think this class will probably be one of the best it's been for us, number 25 currently. You love to see it. And our quarterfinal matchup is going to be against the USF Bulls. They destroyed Wisconsin, doubled up their score. And Georgia in a shootout defeated Coach Prime in Colorado. So not going to be an easy path for us, but I kind of do like our first round matchup. I didn't think USF was anything special. But here we go in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Another matchup against USF. Pretty much took care of them in the first matchup. We're trying to do that again today. And the very first drive of this game, our potent offense is moving it. Inside the red zone here, instant pressure for Bettis, and he takes a huge sack. It's why I hate running some play action, because we can just rarely ever get the actual pass off. But here, I'm just going to lob one up deep to Leverett, incomplete. And now we have a 48-yard field goal. I think this one should be good here. Got enough power on it, and it is going to be 3-0 Pirates early. And so far, offense is cooking. Already over 100 yards of offense. USF has been unable to do anything. Trying to scramble out here, across the middle of the field. Just a risky throw. I don't know what it is with this Bulls defense, but they just bait me into a lot of bad throws. And again, trying to throw this little underneath route here to Waiters. He held on. And to make this a 10-0 game early would be huge. Underneath, caught by Spain. 10-0 Pirates. We just forced an interception, and now we have a chance to make it 17-0 against the Bulls and really close out the light early in this first half. Just going to dump it underneath here, not take a risky throw to Spain. He's going to break a tackle. With how our defense has played all year, I would be shocked if we would relinquish a 17-point lead. And then I just do that. And then I just do that. I'm going to throw a pick 6 here. I just don't... I have no words how this just keeps happening. Like, USF has 8 yards. They have 8 yards against our defense, and they're still in this game because I just can't stop turning the ball over. And here underneath to Stevens, he dropped it. But our defense is just so elite. It's just so elite. And now we need to finally just close the lid on the Bulls here. Their one touchdown is a 92-yard pick 6 because of an ill-advised throw. And Bettis, just take off and run. Bettis, just don't fumble it. He's down to the 1. And I don't care if we get stuffed 3 times in a row. I'm running it every single play. Stevens, touchdown. That might be the game. The Bulls score very quickly, so it's still a game. It just never ends with this Heisman difficulty. But Leverett here for first. But here's the 3rd and 3 play, a low percentage pass, and we're actually gonna take a sack. Just take a sack, run the clock down, and not risk a throw. And now, just no funny business from the Heisman CPU, and we should be fine here. They have to go 96 yards with no timeouts. Their quarterback here, the first down play, is going to throw it away. Now in prevent defense, the final play of this game to advance the Pirates to the semifinals of the college football playoffs. And their quarterback is not even... Actually, there's a throw, but it's way short. And the ECU Pirates, we're moving on. Wasn't a pretty game, but all that matters is that we caught the W, going to the next round, survive and advance, and we're 2 games away from a natty. In the semifinals, we are facing off against 13-2 Georgia, who narrowly beat Kansas State, who was undefeated heading into the postseason. I feel like we played Georgia in like every rebuild in the Orange Bowl, and that's again what we're doing today, with Miami and Nebraska as the 2 potential teams we can play in the national championship. The Orange Bowl in Hard Rock Stadium against the Georgia Bulldogs, who are routinely here. It's time to pull off a pretty big upset. And on this first drive, our potent offense is cooking. We're already basically in the red zone here, and we have our running back on this wheel route, and a beautiful throw from Bettis hit as he throws it. He dimed. And Georgia, to begin this second quarter, is on the move. It's a 3rd and 7 at the 47-yard line. We are in some zone defense here, just have to prevent the big play. It's going deep, and it's going to be picked off by Fleming. What a huge play, and he's actually going to have a nice return to bring it back to the 30. And now across midfield, we give ourselves a chance to maybe go on a drive here and get up 14-0 against Georgia. A beautiful throw again from Bettis. Can he get there? Waiters couldn't come down with it. It's hard offensively with these star cornerbacks that Georgia has, but it is 14-0. We have the ball again. with a chance to go down the field. And look at that. Leverett completely burned the star cornerback. And Leverett, he's got it in stride. And it's 21-0 Pirates in this first half. And frankly, our defense just came to play. Georgia cannot do anything offensively, as actually Bettis is going to take a sack here. But with the field goal, we can make it a 24-point game. And with a touchdown, this game might just be out of reach. Across the middle of the field here, Waiters, he caught it, but it's a little bit short. I think we stay aggressive, go forward here, try to get up 28-0, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Cross the middle of the field, hold on to it. He's got it. Our redshirt freshman wide receiver coming up big. We have Leverett again on the slant route. He's open again, cooking. I mean, cooking that star corner. It's 28-0. And Georgia did get on the board. They're trying to make it interesting with a touchdown here. They cut it to 14 points. But if we can get a stop, it'll officially be the end of the game. Their quarterback is firing outside. It's going to be incomplete. I thought he got a foot in, but I guess he didn't. And that is just about going to do it here at Hard Rock Stadium. A 28-7 convincing win for the ECU Pirates. And they're going on to the national championship game. And Nebraska won 28-21 against Miami. So Dylan Raiola and the 8-seeded Cornhuskers is going to be our matchup for the coach's trophy. A great opening drive for Bettis in this offense. No safety deep on this 3rd and 2 play. I think Leverett could be wide open for a bomb. And we're going to fire it to him. Leverett, come back for the pass. He held on. Leverett inside the 3. He has been a stud wideout for us all season long. And can he beat the star corner on the slant? He can. 7-0. Dylan Raiola and the Nebraska offense, though, has responded fairly well. Already inside our red zone on their first drive. And their first play inside our 20 is going to be a pass play. A check down here to the running back. Takes a big hit. They're going to line up in I form. I'm going to try and run commit. And of course, it's going to be a pass. And there's just no way he got that off. And I just said on the moments, we fumbled the football. And Nebraska's back in the red zone. That's just what you cannot do in these key spots. Raiola's going to run for it. I try to strip it. No fumble. I'm kind of scared to blitz Raiola just because of how the last one went. But we're going to try it again here on 3rd and 6. Try to play the sticks, and he's got nothing open until the wide open out route. And now all the way in the 4th quarter, it's 21-14, and we need to stop desperately on defense to give us a chance. They're going to bring the receiver in motion, and nice little play there from the running back, and he's actually going to break a couple tackles. I think likely another run here, but I'm not going to predict it. Actually, it will be a pass from the CPU, and they've got the wide open out route. And now we have 3 timeouts to stop the clock, maybe get the ball back with a minute, and then maybe get a chance to take this game to overtime if we can go the full length of the field and score. Not very ideal. But here's the first down play. Raiola is going to get the snap off just barely, and the running back, he's going nowhere. 2nd and 13, another run. He's a little bit short this time. In 3rd and 8, I think we cannot allow any yards or they're going to be in field goal range. And they picked up 1 yard, and they will punt the football. So we're going to have around 1 minute, no timeouts, down by 7 points to go tie this game. And of course, just an absolute dot of a punt. So Bettis, we will see what you are made of here. At the 2-yard line, the first play, cross the middle of the field, 2 waiters. Huge gain. Obviously going no huddle. Got to have like 3 more of those to get even close. We do have Leverett burning 1-on-1 coverage. Is it overthrown? It's not going to be. And Leverett outruns the single coverage and ties it just like that. And we have made it here in overtime. Nebraska just needed out, went to OT, and now they have a 3rd and 15. We've got to get a stop. He's firing to the sideline. It's picked off by Anderson. And I guess here we go in overtime. I don't really know what's going on. EA and OT is just glitchy. We just intercepted Nebraska there, and then it just showed the handshake. So I'm just going to assume that all we need is a field goal to win this game, and I'm just going to play that way. First pass is incomplete. And now on 3rd and 9, Waiters burns the coverage. And is that the game? That should be the game. We're celebrating like that is the game. I think ECU might have just won the national championship. I can't tell because of how glitchy this is. And yes, it is over. ECU, the East Carolina Pirates, are national champions in year number 4. I think this is year number 4. We take down Nebraska, send them home in an absolute overtime thriller. Stats for the season, starting Bettis was the right move. 3,700 yards, 38 touchdowns to only 10 picks. And on the ground, we had a very split backfield. 445 yards for Stevens, 421 for Bynum. Even Bettis had some yardage. Receiving wise though, Leverett, he was an absolute stud all season long. Waiters was reliable too, but it was really the defense. And oh my goodness, 16 sacks for Dwight Johnson Jr., 12.5 for Colin Coates. And Keeley only had 7. He might have been our best overall player. 8 interceptions for Cameron Fleming, 3 for Kevin Merrill. I mean, we were just absolutely loaded on our defense. As always, a very big bulk of players leaving. I mean, so many key redshirt seniors for us that are graduating. We only have 1 NFL prospect apparently. Like I do in pretty much all my rebuilds, I just want to sim the entire next season to see if we can go back to back. Just let the CPU take over for a year. We are going to get back Sharif Miles, a left guard, so that is cool. Our 2 pass rushers did get drafted in Keeley and Johnson Jr. pretty late in the draft, I'd say, for their production, but I mean, we'll take it. Not a ton in the transfer portal, going through this pretty fast. It was only this cornerback, Doc Abraham. I mean, still a really good player, but 16 official signees this year. We also have a 5-star, a lot of 4 stars. It's the number 19 class, definitely the best that we've had so far. Here's a fast look at our trending results. A very loaded team, a 90 overall defense with a 91 overall running back and center. Bettis is up to an 85 overall with his boost, and even Brett Waddle's up to an 80. In the preseason poll, we're only the number 12 team in the country. Feels a tad bit disrespectful for the national champion. But here's a look at our schedule quickly before I sim it all. We have an NC State rematch week number 1. They're number 25 in the nation. And then really outside of that, again, not a super tough schedule. And the American Conference, we've been really owning the conference for a couple years now. I did quickly want to show you guys the 5-star recruit that we had. I mean, he would be a demon in a couple of years if we did continue this rebuild. Already a 79 overall as a true freshman. And unfortunately, not a great season for us. So we did beat NC State, who's now the number 2 team in the country, but lost to Coastal Carolina. We had another ranked win against Boise State, but lost to UTSA, lost to Charlotte, and finished 8-4, 5-3, and 3rd in the American. I don't know what happened with Jelani Bettis, but he just had a complete dumpster fire of a season. Holy crap. Rushing, we were still decent like we were last year, but I just cannot believe how bad we were throwing the football. Defensively, I mean, we were still so dominant, causing turnovers, not as many as last year, but I'm just shocked about how bad Bettis was this year. I guess our offensive coordinator was just not good this year, but I just cannot believe how bad he was compared to what he did as a freshman. But that is going to do it for me today with rebuilding the worst school/program in the state of North Carolina. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought about the rebuild, and then really any other recommendations that you have for teams I should rebuild or just fun scenarios to play out. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.